Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Blades of Roses, a game of swashbuckling adventure, suspicious intrigue, and more daddy issues than one might immediately imagine. But don't worry, they're wholesome, all set in the world of 7th. My name is Dan McCurdy, and I will be your storyteller this evening. And these are my players, starting with Marquis.
Hello, everyone. I am Marquis, found in almost every location that you're allowed to find me at Marquis1305. And I play Mesara O'Toole, the Inish princess, who's probably one of the most bloodthirsty of the group. However, we have some people who would argue that. Kristoff?
I am Sea Cow Explosion, and I'm wondering what the places we're not supposed to find you are. But that aside, I will be playing Kristoff, who is, I guess, one of those dad issues. Not daddy issues. The one of the two voices of reason of the group, trying to keep multiple people's bloodthirsty urges in check, at least until somebody has to check mine. On to Smoke. And that way.
I am Saltiest Unicorn, or I go by Salt, and you can find me on the TikToks under Saltiest Unicorn. I play Smoke, Sea Captain, who is the wheels of the operation, the other voice of reason, kind of like the crazy ant version of the Magic School Bus. And I'm going to pass it on to Atuk.
Hi, I am Took. You can catch me everywhere, especially here on the Twitch at Took, I guess. And I will be playing the wonderful thieving Blood Witch, Juniper Gagon. Cass?
Hi, everyone. I am Crafty Mirage, also known as Nikki, and I will be playing Lucrezia Castille de Marquez, also known as Cass, the not actually bloodthirsty, but probably will have to stab a few people person who brings you generational trauma on a nightly basis.
Thank you all for joining us here on Squirrels of Darkness. Now, we are continuing on from last week when, as you might recall, the party had a few moments of some of that good generational trauma we were talking about. We got to see some of what Cass's home life was like, and then got to immediately wreck that home life with the sudden arrival of the Inishmore princess, Mesara, who was brought in because of the way she had been working with the Inquisition and helping them to deal with the ghoul threat from episode 1. Over the course of that conversation, there was a little bit of attempted matchmaking by Cass's mother between her middle brother, Ignacio, and Mesara. That got a little bit disrupted by Ignacio being much more interested in Mesara's dueling, and ultimately led with a wonderful arrangement where Lucrezia, as her mother knows her, would be able to show Mez around the town, take her to all of the nice parties, in exchange, by her father's arrangement, teaching her more about the sword, so important in these dangerous times. There was also a little bit of tragedy as we learned that Kara, the girl who had brought the word of the ghoul attack, her parents had been killed, and how to do that, how to deal with that, how to take care of her, led to some fairly poignant moments, and weirdly, a little bit of shopping. But ultimately, the whole party got kind of disrupted out of that more domestic handling of what was going on, including Smoke finishing up her arrangements of the Cerulean Tides, the ship that they had taken for their own, and also Juniper training up the young thieves that he basically shanghaied into his service. This was all disrupted when suddenly a masked man was seen escaping from the guards just outside of the inn. Immediately, Cass and Juniper leaping in to help him. What they learned is that this was a member of Los Vagobundos, the rebellion group, a masked group that fights for justice throughout the lands of Thea, but most especially within Castille, fighting against the influence of the Inquisition, and a group that Cass has been a probationary member of for a few years at this point, and sort of leading to her alter ego and the masked persona she has occasionally put on. They learned that the crown of Good King Sandoval of Castille has been found. It had been lost, but now it has been found by the Inquisition, and they are taking it to Vaticine Island, and they know that if it gets to Vaticine Island, it will probably never be seen again, and it will be difficult for Good King Sandoval or any royalty in Castile to rule without the immediate approval of the Vaticine Church. And that, starting to make plans of using the ship, the Cerulean Tides, to chase the crown and cut off its journey and catch it before it gets to the island, had been happening. And that was where we left off. And now, Mez, you wake up with a start. You are in a not very comfortable cot in the quarters that had been put aside for you and Cass aboard the Cerulean Tides. You can feel the ship moving and rocking in the water. And as you come to, as you awake, the sound of the moaning cuts off entirely. But as you look around, other than the splash of water up against the hull and the creak of wood as the ship rocks from side to side, all seems to be quiet, and you are alone in your dark room.
Mesara will take a moment to gather herself and then, is there a porthole that she can look out of?
Not in this room, no.
Not in this room, okay. So she will slowly make her way out of the room, not knowing what time of day or night it is at this particular moment, but assuming not much sleep was had.
And so you get up and you walk out of the little... Originally, this hull was not designed to have private quarters. That was something that you helped pay for and that Smoke arranged for her friends to have, kind of setting aside. There hasn't been a whole lot of time to set it up, but they did a decent job with it. But as you step out, below decks, you always sort of made sure that you put money towards the good oil to keep the lanterns lit. As you walk out now, it's mostly dark. It seems all the light is coming through shafts of moonlight that seem to be coming through the hatch about 10, 15 feet away from you, and all is quiet, except at a moment you glance and you think you see a shadow drift kind of past the light, not presenting any immediately obvious shapes, just a human-sized shadow.
Well, isn't that interesting? And off she goes to try following it.
All right, you creep down and you're kind of putting your hands out to make sure that you're not,
She is still only in her nightgown with her hair let completely down because she was trying to sleep. So it's very much that she looks like a ghost on this poor ship.
You're walking through and you get to where the light is shining down on you and illuminating the soft white of the cotton of your nightgown and kind of shimmering in that way the moonlight does in red hair, and nothing. Quiet. And one of the things you've had to get used to on ships like this is it's never entirely quiet. Someone is always awake. Someone is always manning something, and maybe they're not always shouting orders, but you got to communicate with the folks up in the rigging, and you got to communicate, and there's folks moving around, and nothing. Quiet.
Odd. She will end up going up to the deck to see if she can find or spot anything.
You climb your way up onto the deck, and it is empty. You look up and you can see the wheel of the con just sort of spinning aimlessly in random directions, and looking around, there's very sign of anything on the deck, but you feel like every now and again out of the corner of your eye, another shadow, another movement, but as soon as you kind of try to track it, nothing. And the ship hits a wave, and this is when it occurs to you it's hitting the waves weird. When Smoke is at the wheel, you always hit the waves head on. So the ship goes up and then it comes back down. Now you're taking them at angles, you're taking them to the side, and the ship is just rocking back and forth. And as it takes one hard rock and you're a little bit hard pressed to keep your balance, you hear a scuttling noise as what looks to be a sword similar to a cavalry saber slides along the deck and touches your feet.
That's not meant to be there. All right, and she will scoop it up. It's a little heavier than she's used to. She's small.
You pick up the sword, and looking ahead, you see that the ship is actually heading into land. Fairly quickly, though not to the point you're too worried, because it looks like it's beach. And then you realize it is a very familiar-looking cove of trees and beach. And as you look down in the distance, you can see the light of a town as the ship suddenly pushes up onto the sand.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear a sound of clambering and things like weapons like rattling and stuff on the side. It sounds like someone is climbing the side of the ship.
Well, there's no one here to alarm. I'm likely still just dreaming. I just have to wait until I wake. All right. And she will stand at the ready with this slightly too heavy sword. She's just muttering to herself like, no, it'll be fine. I'll dream.
You watch as smoke climbs over the side of the ship and stands up and looks at you. She has her whip in one hand, a dagger in her teeth, pulls her sword with the other one, and then says,
Hi, Captain. Sorry, but I'm here to relieve you of your ship.
And you look down and see the tattered remnants of a captain's outfit on you, and you are holding his sword as you stand and prepare to strike, and suddenly you feel a hand grip your arm. And suddenly you're back in your room in the Bessa di Serena. Kara is taking your arm and saying, Mistress, they're saying it will be time to launch soon, that the tides are going to be right soon. You said you wanted me to wake you up when it was time. I'm sorry it's so early.
No, I appreciate it. Get yourself settled. Everything, the accounts are settled for while we're away. The boys that Juniper were talking about, have you met them already?
Yes. They were very nice, actually. I'll let them know what they're supposed to be doing.
Keep an eye on them. Let them know that you're the one in charge of all of this.
Okay.
I'll see to getting ready myself.
Are you okay, Lady Mesara?
I'll be fine.
Okay. She walks out the door, closes it behind her, and comes downstairs to where most of you have already gathered. Cass, you had made some arrangements with your family, letting them know you were going to be gone for a couple days on a trip that she was going with to kind of help her introduce her to other parts of Castilian society. Is there anything in particular you would have wanted to get ready before you embarked? It's now been something to the tune of 7 hours since you spoke with the member of Los Vagobundos. Saber with his code.
So this is like right after. It's been a couple days since.
It's been hours. It has been
hours. Okay, so I did bring an overnight bag, but it just has my normal gear in it and like some just to change into because I left in a very nice dress.
All right.
And I have my weapons in there in the overnight bag as well because I just needed them in case I have my mask and my hairpin.
All right. So you're standing on the side, just kind of ready to go. You got told that it was going to be an early departure because that's just where the tides happen to be right now, to have the best conditions to get out and moving quickly as fast as possible. Juniper, you've got the three young men, Alejandro, Roberto, and Fernando, all kind of standing there with you. They've been told that they are going to be working for the inn, as much to keep them out of trouble in your absence as anything else. You're not quite ready to have them operating fully independently of you for an extended period of time. But they're just kind of standing around like, do we really have to, like, wash dishes and stuff?
I'm just gonna look at them and go, yeah. I mean, of course, when the time is right, you'll be doing things for me and also for Smoke. So it'll be fine. I mean, it's good to have a little bit of downtime. You don't always need to be training, you know.
All right. We can, like, get drinks and stuff, right? That's fine.
You're still children. No, don't drink. Were you drinking? Have you been drinking?
No.
They're lying.
I thought these kids were like 17.
Yeah, 17 and 18.
Oh, let them
Still.
drink.
You need to work on that. You could lie a little bit better.
Right. Alejandro still has the really good black eyes, so he's a little
Yeah, a little like, yeah.
still a little skittish
But
around you.
But he'll grab one of their shoulders and just go, I love all three of you like your mom and children. Or little brothers, whatever may have you. So don't be stupid. Be safe. And do what she tells you to do, because honestly, if she throws you over, I don't know what, I can't really do anything about that one.
Alejandro kind of goes up. It's like, we got to listen to the girl.
Do you want another black eye?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what I thought. Yes, you have to listen to the woman. Respect your elder son.
She's 16.
Still a woman. Stand up.
She is so irritating. And ever since she found out we're supposed to listen to her, fine.
And then I'll turn out, June will turn again and go, you like her, don't you?
What? No.
Oh,
No.
You're very cute. Oh, and he'll like ruffle his hair.
No, she is so annoying.
Uh-huh. Right. I get that. It's annoying.
Fine. Be safe. Can we go back to bed now?
Sure.
And they go off. Meanwhile, over by the fire, Jonathan, the quartermaster of the Cerulean Tides, has come in to give his morning report to Smoke. He's been doing the last second provisioning of the ship, and he brings it over to you and goes, "Hi, Captain. We've gotten everything, all the provisions, all good to go. One problem, though. The cannon were running late. We just have what was on it. We've got 2 guns starboard and 2 larboard, and that's all."
Considering how few we have to man them anyway, we can put that one on when we get back. We should be good.
All right. Well, everyone's aboard and ready to go on your go. If we leave in the next hour, we should be able to take full advantage of the tides on the way out. I need to tell you, though, it's going to be slow going for the first half of the trip. It's a bad time to be heading southeast.
We're going to have to do what we can. If it means I have to get up into the riggings to trim sails to make us go, then that's what I will do.
Whatever you say, Captain. Though you're bringing a decent command crew along with you, will they be of any help?
I haven't got the chance to train them yet.
Don't you worry, ma'am. We'll get them in ship shape soon enough.
I'm sure we will.
All right, I'll see you on the ship, ma'am. And he takes off. Never in front of the crew. like the actual crew, he's always really on with the with the procedure and everything because they need to learn it. But whenever it's just him and you, like you can tell he's the older sailor between the two, and he knows it. Never disrespectful, but a little bit more like he becomes like a fond uncle.
Absolutely. You gotta have one of those every now and then on the ship.
Meanwhile, Kristoff, not a whole lot has been happening kind of concerning you. You probably would have gotten word from Kara that it was time to get up and come down around. She probably went to your room before she went to... she always tries to let Mesara sleep in as much as possible.
Tramsite was already up anyway. Late to bed, early to rise.
Mm-hmm.
Soldier's life.
Mm-hmm. So all your stuff is ready, and you're probably just hanging out in the common room by now?
Yeah. Only reason I'm not on the ship is in case somebody else needs help carrying something heavy.
All right. So, Mesara, how are things going in your room?
We are not letting that affect us. Mesara is officially getting dressed. She is definitely a little bit dressed down from her normal gowns.
Mm-hmm.
And something a little bit more travel worthy. But not quite her we're going on an adventure outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I need to travel in public and people now know who I am here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit dressed down, and she'll start making her way down the stairs as she's doing her best to put all of those thoughts behind her.
So you all watch as Mesara is the last to come out into the common room. Kara's there almost immediately with a little bit of breakfast, some dried fruit, some meat, and things like that, just to help. She's been generally doing that for all of you, but she a little bit extra. She's actually made it a little bit pretty on what you'll get to carry as she kind of brings it up to you.
Thank you, my dear. Go ahead and see to your other duties now.
Absolutely. Be safe, and I hope to see you soon.
And you.
And she goes off, and I think I'll go get those dresses today.
Of course. Everything's been settled.
All right. Anything anyone will have wanted to have taken care of before they went to bed? I wanted the dramatic open, but you still get any extra prep time you might have wanted between.
The only thing I plan on doing is talking to Kara before we leave.
I got shot, so
Your arm is feeling better. Kristoff has been working on it, and even though every time it got dosed with whiskey, it hurt like hell, you feel like you've got your
motion back.
maneuvering back. And yes, everyone watching, this is not at all realistic. We're going for swashbuckling movie, so
There's some magic.
Can I? Would I be able to have a one-on-one convo with someone?
Sure. Who are you looking for?
I feel so bad. So Cass, I feel so bad about that argument. So Junie would just kind of knock on the door if she would answer.
Are we at the inn?
You're in the common room together right now. She's
Oh,
in
yeah.
the common room. The inn.
Okay, I guess I'll just take her aside and I go, I'm not good at this at all. I'm sorry for... Oh boy. Give me a sec. He like goes over, grab a drink, downs it, come back. I'm sorry for yelling at you and being a little upset about you not telling us things, but you had your reasons, and I can admit that I also should have told you some very important things. So
I mean, I never asked why. They asked me to watch you, but I've also not really been doing a good job at it. I kind of dumped you on Mez. But that's because obviously I couldn't exactly take you to my house, and especially knowing what I know now, definitely couldn't have taken you back to my house.
Yes, that would have been very bad. But either way, thank you. You didn't have to hand me off to someone who has a fuck ton of money and gets me drunk on a daily occasion and also somehow picks up my accent like they live there.
She's a princess. She probably knows a lot of languages.
That is very true. My life is fun, and it's thanks to all of you. And even though sometimes I can be very impulsive,
maybe don't run ahead of us before we have a plan.
I will
work on it.
There you go. Yes, I will work on it. And don't worry about any like points to the wall. Don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I've been shot at, so this is the first time I've been actually hit. I'm usually very fast, so I've never been shot at, and I'm not usually around when there are guns firing. Right. Well, if you need anything, I think we're gonna be selling together for a while. So just let me know.
Yeah, we probably are, which I need to leave a letter here.
So with that though, are your family just gonna let you leave?
That's what the letter's for.
So you're gonna still go, but leave a letter. Hey, I'm gone.
I mean, my mother knows I'm going to be staying here overnight at the very least with Mesara, but she's probably going to be wondering where I am when I'm not back after a couple of days, so I'm just going to leave a letter.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope all goes well with that. And I don't know your mama, haven't met her, but if she's anything like mine, I hope she doesn't hit you over the head with a frying pan for being stupid.
My mother uses her words more than her fists.
Mine was very much so. Why did you steal that? We have money. And I went, because I didn't want to pay for it. And then I got hit with a frying pan. So, to each their own.
All right. I accept your apology.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, with that, I'm going to go drink.
More?
What? I only had one for today.
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Look here.
I heard you telling those boys that they couldn't drink. They're 17. The drinking age, I'm pretty sure, in the 1600s is like
tall enough to reach the bar.
Tall enough to reach the bar.
Well, I don't want them to turn on like me. So
Then in this case, set the better example as Smoke is walking over there hearing this. I'm going to go get another drink. And then, no. You're getting on ship within the hour. You're not getting another drink. Otherwise, you're going to go overboard.
Okay, fine. I'll get water.
Water. See, there's nothing wrong with water.
What none of you know is that in a little bit, Juniper will inspire the song, What Do You Do with the Drunken Sailor?
It's about him.
You better have a longboat to stick him in.
So, meanwhile, Kara seems to have a little bit of twitchy energy, and so rather than going immediately back up to her room, she grabs an apron, kind of wraps it around her waist, and is sort of helping. Edmundo is not awake, and so she's sort of running the common room. There's not a whole lot to do at this particular moment, but she's being present and working, and so is available for Kristoff to kind of pull aside.
It was like yesterday that she received the news, right?
It was yesterday.
Okay. So she seems to be doing the keeping busy to keep herself going thing.
Instrumental grieving seems to be happening, yes.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. It's a perfectly valid strategy. Kara.
Yes, sir.
When she says sir, I'm just gonna...
I'm sorry, it's what Poppy always said to say.
It's what your dad said, then It's fine. Gonna kneel down a little bit, partially to get on her level, but also so I can unstrap my boot knife. And just hand it to her, sheath and strap and all.
She takes it and goes, "Oh, never had one of these."
It's sharp. You be careful with it. But I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told my niece when she was about your age. When you get your dresses fitted, make sure you can conceal that underneath. And if anybody gets too close, between the second and third rib.
I've seen Lady Mesara. It goes here, right? And she tries to stick it down the front of the
This
dress.
one's a little bigger. I would suggest maybe if you're going with a longer dress, maybe a calf sheath, maybe as much as a thigh strap, or I don't know, maybe inside of a corset could be possible, depending. But it's a. This is Castille. I guarantee you, if you go to one of the shops, they will know how to handle. In fact, I'm going to give her the name of the shop that Mez and I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Go to this shop.
Oh yes, that's where Lady Mesara always goes.
Okay. You just let them know that they need to work around that, and they'll do so. And don't stab any of Junie's boys, but you can threaten them if you need to.
Oh yeah, I remember some of the good words that I've heard Lady Mez and Lady Cass using.
I'm just going to give her a nod. I'm not going to bemoan the point of the last 24 hours. She is doing this on her terms.
I'm very sorry, Marquis. Where would she have seen Mesara hide a knife?
Mesara doesn't use knives.
Good point.
Cass does.
Cass does. Mesara keeps her rapier hidden under her skirt, strapped to her thigh.
So yeah, that's where, and it has the strap anyway, so that's where
Yes.
she would hike up the skirt and put it there.
You can do an upper arm sort of deal where it's like a motion, like it's a motion and it'll slide right into your palm if you the way you put it in your sleeve.
For the record, my knife is basically a short sword.
Oh no, she can't do what I'm saying then.
You gotta thigh strap that.
It's a big one,
and then
because
you make sure that the dress keeper knows that it's there, like he did, because then they give you the little pocket, and you reach into the pocket and pull out a sword. You just go.
Are you hearing all those cosplayers? Okay.
I haven't done this before, not at all. Anyways,
Don't go near Marquis at Ren Fair if she's wearing a dress. Got it.
All right. Anyone else have anything else?
You close in the dark.
Yep.
which one first?
Let's start with Marquis and then we'll get Cass. I'm assuming you're going to give me the details of the letter. Okay, so Marquis first and then we'll get you.
So Mesara, yesterday, before falling asleep, set up the accounts for Junie's boys and Kara, so that way they had their wages paid in case we don't come back within a month's time.
Okay.
She also made sure that the accounts at the dressmakers and the tailors were set, so that way all of them can get new clothing. There is a letter to Edmundo letting them know that the wages are paid, the room and board is paid, and if they need clothes to go here. There's also a letter to Kara saying, hey, if you need weaponry, or if the boys need weaponry, accounts are paid at this location and this location. Also, letters have been sent out to the high families asking for a tutor for Kara.
All right.
She was busy last night before her fever dream.
Doing all this, you're working on your very stuff, and you're starting to notice, like, money is just a thing that's there to you. It's never been an object. Your sister often tried to help you with, like, the fine details of where precisely this was coming from. As far as you're not quite to the point where you think fairies bring it, but like it's not far off. Like, they're more technical accounting words for where it comes from, but it might as well be fairies bring money. And you're noticing some of the births are getting a little bit on the light side, like with some of the money and expenses you've made. And more is coming, more is always coming, but just, It's not gone, but having put so much money for such a long time ahead of time to do this, you're like, oh, this is not in fact bottomless unless it's just broken right now. I wonder if it'll be better when I get back, but then...
Right. So what I need to do is start generating my own income, which means I should probably be looking into properties that I can buy. I might just buy some of the properties that were run over by the ghouls, and then I can simply rent them back and have them renovated. Hi, I'll do that. And she starts writing that letter.
Is she gentrifying the docks?
That's got to be a corruption point.
She's gentrifying the docks.
I'm going to go ahead and say you have not had time to do that. And
no, she's getting everything started. Like, she's writing out the plan and she's writing letters to the people in order to purchase this. She's not trying to gentrify it. She's actually intending fully to rent it back to the people at more reasonable rates than what they are currently paying.
And are nicer.
But she knows that people who have homes tend to be more productive overall.
Mm-hmm. I just love the idea of zombies attacked. This is a real estate opportunity.
You buy it when the market is just right.
Yeah.
And just right is always after a natural disaster.
And then I can start working with the masonry guilds, and I can ensure that the carpentry guilds get their portion of it. And then Smoke.
In any role-playing game, eventually you end up playing either The Sims or SimCity.
This area
got there a little faster.
This area of San Juan is forever going to be renamed Little Inishmore. There we go.
Well, this also creates merchant opportunities, especially for Smoke, who can bring in the lumber and such.
And other goods. I mean,
all right, we're switching to Cass.
So Cass is going to write a letter to be left in case someone from the DeMarquez household comes to inquiring about her and her whereabouts. And the letter is basically going to state that the Princess Mesara O'Toole chose Cass Lucrezia to be a lady in waiting. So she has to go with her to meet dignitaries. And she adds on, this is an excellent opportunity, Mother, to meet suitors of high rank.
All right. Yep, that's all written down. Kara is the one who's up and about now, but she takes it and she says that she'll make sure that Edmundo sees it and lets the night bartender know that too. And is there anything else you need, ma'am?
No, I'm fine. And she's gonna look at the dagger that Kristoff gave her, and she's just gonna look at it. If you need something smaller, and she's gonna pull out one of her actual daggers, and she'll hand it to her. That is smaller. You can hide it in your sleeve. And she's gonna roll up her own sleeve and show how she's got it strapped upside down and show her how to make a motion. And she shows the motion. When she does the motion, the dagger will slide into her palm. You do that. If someone messes with you.
The first time
between the second and third rib.
She doesn't 100% believe that this won't cut her wrist as she's doing it. But then she practices a little bit and seems to be picking it up pretty quickly.
And remember, if someone does mess with you and you need to use it, between the second and third rib.
Oh, okay.
They all know between the second and third rib.
The fastest way to a man's heart is a knife between the ribs. So.
Exactly.
And she's supposed to be the innocent one.
I am the innocent one, but I also know between the second and third rib.
So taking care of all this now brings us up to speed. All of these preparations have been made. Mesara has come down, had her bit of breakfast, and the group is, unless there's anyone else wants anything else to do, is ready to head to the docks where seeing none. All right. It is that weird none of you, with the possible exception of Kristoff and Smoke, I guess, have really given the impression of being early risers. And so at night, San Juan has that buzz of a trade mercantile town. A lot of people on leave celebrating, a lot of people who live there who want to create opportunities for people who are on leave to spend their money. And so getting up, it has all of the darkness of night, but the chill quiet of early morning. There aren't many people moving in the streets. The occasional shadow will kind of pass by. A bunch of the lanterns have gone out. The ones that might have, due to wind, have burned a little bit faster. And so weird shadows are kind of being cast as you move. Just all of that. The city in a different time, but occasionally a patrol of guard will walk through. You hear the occasional shout of all is well as the guards do their various patrols, and you get to the docks, and it's and as you first get into the docks district, what's right in front of you are the big ships. San Juan isn't the busiest port in the world, but it's busy enough, particularly in handling trade between Castille and Montaigne, that so there's several docks set up for some of the bigger ships to be able to come all the way in so that they don't have to use boats to bring their stuff back and forth. The Cerulean Tides does not require such a dock, and you're able to go out to the side and arrive where your new ship, Captain Smoke, is gently bobbing on the water as you can see that the tide has begun to go out.
All right, we need to board. Ladies, there is a spare cabin down below for you. Gentlemen, there's one for you as well, unless you want to sleep with the crew. It's up to you. I will go and walk up the ship, hear Jonathan, Captain.
Got him on the ship. As soon as you're on, everyone, folks are working, swabbing the deck. Basically, never ever stops. And but as you do, everyone, you see that moment as the whole crew immediately snaps up to attention. Probably a bit of a weird sensation. Mez, you are particularly used to, you walk up and you being the one that all the eyes snap, but there is absolutely no doubt they know who the captain is, and just this, and Smoke is just in charge. And Jonathan, the quartermaster, walks up and down, looks at everyone, gently corrects one of the newer dock boys on his posture, and then steps in front of you and goes, Captain, where are we headed?
We're going to need to get out of the bay, and we're going to be heading southeast.
Around the so you're on the western side of the peninsula, and the city you are going to is on the eastern side, and you're going around the south.
How's the rising?
Cass would just done quickly. Rioja.
Yeah. So we'll be heading over to Rioja.
Right.
Get there as fast as we can.
As fast as we can. There's some options there. All right, everyone, back to work, you lubbers. All right, come on and looks over. Darius, help the girls with their luggage, will ya? One of the cabin boys goes over. It's like, ma'am, and starts grabbing bags and stuff and carrying them down below.
While we are on the deck. Oh, sorry. Is it? While we're on the deck, everything's settled. I'm just going to turn to Smoke. Where do you want me, Captain?
Yeah, how much sailing have you done?
Enough.
Good. I'm going to need it with this crew. go up
I think your
and
Mesin cats probably don't know what they're doing. Junie definitely doesn't. Knows way around the ship.
no, they don't.
So somebody's going to be keeping the three of them out of trouble, so I may as well pick up the slack elsewhere.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and see what Jonathan needs, because I'm pretty sure he's going to assign someone to Junie. We might need to stick him up in the crow's nest.
Actually, around this time, Jonathan is sort of sizing up the members of the command crew as he's been referring to your friends, and he'll go up to Cass first. Oh, what clothes are you all wearing for this part of the trip? We know that Mez got into kind of adventure-y, but still dresses, right?
I am not wearing the fancy dress at all anymore. That's in the bag where it belongs. But I'm wearing my typical let's go adventuring gear. So I'm wearing just leather pants, white flowy blouse with a my coat, my hooded coat over it. That's got a cincher around it, and boots.
So he'll walk up to Cass first and go, "Aye, lass, you got keen eyes on you?"
See, I do.
Do you have your book learning? Do you know the flags of the different ships?
Do I know the difference? I don't.
You'd be able to pick out, like, you probably wouldn't be able to handle like the different seafaring companies, but you would definitely know the national flags.
I know the flags of all the countries.
No, that'd be good enough. How are you with heights?
I'm very good with heights.
You like climbing?
See?
Hey, Captain, crow's nest for this one.
Yeah?
No.
She'd go up there.
Awesome.
Oh, you mind climbing up? You got a nice place for you to sit up top.
She's already looking up at the crow's nest, and without hesitating, she just like starts very confidently climbing the rigging.
He walks around, looks at Mez. Ma'am,
Hi.
heard about you.
Have ya?
Look, I never told a princess what to do on a ship, and I'm not going to start now because I, want to get to my second retirement. But God, this guy's accent is all over the place. Apologies. I know you're good with the sword, though. Anyone comes aboard without the captain's leave, think you could help us clear the decks?
Happily.
Swordmaster, ma'am.
Absolutely.
And then he looks over at Juniper. You're a strong one, aren't you?
You are not about to make me a deck boy, because that's what it sounds like. You're about to make me.
Oh no, deck boys are for swabbing, and everyone can use some time swabbing, but these ropes don't always pull easy. And when Captain needs the sheets all up, she needs them all up now, not when some lanky little one can manage to pull it. Mind the sheets when we say pull this rope, pull it hard. Can you tie a knot?
Very much so. Yes.
Decent enough topman, ma'am.
He'd be good for it too.
One condition, though. Cannot swing from the ropes if we're boarded. What? I always wanted to do it.
Junie, if you have the opportunity to get the drop on someone by swinging by the ropes, I expect you to do it.
Oh my. Yeah.
I know,
Jonathan goes,
it's okay.
I'm just coming up with ideas, by the way. She's the one in charge. And finally looks to Kristoff. Oh, you're a big fella. And you know your work with that sword, I'm guessing.
Give him a nod.
But I heard about you. All the hiring we were doing, ship doesn't have a surgeon. You look like you got the stomach for it.
Yeah, I guess I'll take care of all the cuts and scrapes.
Ship surgeon, ma'am.
That's what I was hoping for.
They'll do.
So,
They'll get their sea legs soon enough.
until somebody hurts themselves, because it's always somebody hurting themselves.
It is.
Or you want me to help out until then?
Ma'am?
Well, you actually also know how to read maps. If you want to help with the navigating until then as well. You and me together, we can make sure that we get where we need to be as quick as possible.
Sounds good, Captain.
Ma'am, if you two are going to be helping with the navigating, there's something I should look at with both of you in your quarters once we're clear of the bay.
Okay.
And he starts, so he gets everyone set up, everyone's in place. On your word, ma'am.
Let's head on out.
Anchors away, boys! And the anchor comes up, sails get let out. You find out, Juniper, like, you get your workouts where you can get them, often by punching people. You find pulling these ropes are no joke. You are not a weak person, and you're like, man, I do this for a while. My shoulders are going to be amazing. Start getting a hold and start pulling on them, and the wind, as the sun crests up over the horizon, the wind very dramatically suddenly strikes up as well. The sails fill, and the Cerulean Tides heads out of San Juan Bay and starts heading, turning to take as much advantage of the wind as they can, which isn't very much. The wind is largely against you, and you're mainly riding the tide for this part of the trip. But after about a half hour, 45 minutes, the ship is entirely clear. San Juan vanishes in the distance, and the ship is traveling along the coast of Castille.
At that point, I will hand the helm off to one of the others, and Kristoff and I will join Jonathan over in the captain's cabin to take a look at what he was wanting to show us.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Rosa is kind of the one on hand to grab the wheel when neither you or the quartermaster are there to have it, and it's easy enough now. It's follow the coast, don't get too close, don't be too far away.
Avoid rocks.
And the two of you step into the captain's quarters where Jonathan has the local charts all laid out on the desk. Well, miss, we got options. The fastest route is to hug the coast as close as we can. Take the turns. It gets the best winds. It'll get the wind going fully in our favor as soon as possible. The tide going out will support us as long as it can. The surf could get a bit rough at some points, but here's our problem. And he points at a spot right on the southwestern tip of the continent, and he's like, Siren's Cove, ma'am. All those reefs. It's the fastest. Going all the way around it'll cost us 12 with these winds, maybe even 18, 20 hours. You want all speed. We've got a fairly shallow hull on us. We can navigate it. It's not suicide. But it's a tough run for a green crew.
Have we heard any recent activity from Siren's Cove?
You always hear tales. Some sailor jumped overboard because he heard a siren singing, or the pilot.
I have students of legends. If I could make like maybe a wits check of some sort.
All right. Okay. Again, this is a risk because you are needing to determine what is legend and what is actual sailing fact. So I'm going to go ahead and give the roll. Better you do the last hearsay I'll put into what you hear.
Okay. I had to remember what kind of roll this was.
And don't forget your flair.
Yeah. I have one success.
One success. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have 2 dice to buy back, but you're not getting them. Just saying.
Oh, okay. So, as a kid growing up, you heard about Siren's Cove all the time. It's not the worst place on the ocean, on any of the 7 seas, to have trouble, just because you're just off the mainland. You can usually swim in, but a lot of ships get taken out there. There's still usually, every time one goes down, a few people drown, just because it's tough to swim when the ship's going down beneath you. And even though it doesn't have far to go, it's still enough that it can be a problem. And over, because it is the fastest way to whip around the peninsula, the tales about why it happened, and sailors who were piloting the ship, steering the ship when it crashed, they all have stories about the reasons. There's stories of that there's a particularly high number of sirens that operates, and that their song pulled people off course. There's even been a tale or two about red squalls in that area, though you can never be entirely certain. Of late, there was word that there's been a fair amount of naval, Castilian Navy action in the area, and apparently a ship that was supposed to be making the trip back to San Juan got lost in the reefs very recently, potentially in the last week.
Mm-hmm. I will kind of talk some of this lore, kind of like talk it back and forth with Jonathan and with Kristoff, and what's our next best option just in case? You're telling me 12 hours if we negate the cove.
Possibly 20, depending on how the winds go. And other than that, if you want to avoid it, well, I mean, we could always dock in San Cristobal, and you could rent horses and try to ride them down on foot.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
No. I think we're going to have to risk it. What are you thinking?
With our timetable, are we going to get where we need to be getting if we don't go through Siren's Cove?
No. We're going to mess up. So
it sounds like that's our only option. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to be on this boat. I guess if San Cristobal might help, we could go. I'd just have to be careful. But I'd rather not chance that.
I really don't want to push that luck, because it's luck either way right now. All right. We're going to have to do our best with it. If anything seems suspicious, let's make sure the crow's nest knows to keep an extra eye out for things along the shores, creatures in the waters. And I would say let's make sure everybody has some spare cloth of some sort that they can stick in their ears if they need to.
Aye, I'll be letting the lads and Rosa and Jessa know. You handle your folks.
I'll handle mine.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Kristoff. We're going to have to... How are we going to play it off? Because I don't think any of these people are going to believe us if there's creatures in the deep. I don't care. They just saw ghouls, zombies, whatever those things were.
Just for my clarification, are there creatures in the deep?
There are lots of creatures in the deep. The question is, which ones are real and which ones are not?
Well, in my experience, but this is coming from the perspective of an Eisner, if there's a risk of monsters, you just tell people there might be monsters.
What?
But
If you would like to tell Mesara and Junie, I'll go up into the crow's nest and let Cass know. And I wasn't kidding about having some cotton or cloth or something to put into your ears. If it really is sirens, you really do not want to be hearing them full force.
I thought that was just a myth, too.
Do you want to chance it?
Oh, no. I'm just saying, there's a lot more of these stories are having credibility than I was expecting.
You like saying something from someone from Eisen.
It's the water. You don't expect things to come out of the water. Yeah. I'll go let him know.
I'll walk out with him and go climbing straight up the rigging just like Cass did. Very quickly, proficiently.
Some of the crew look up. They're clearly not used. Anyone who's sailed before is not used to seeing the captain up in the ropes. But no, you just go right up like you were born to it, and you see as you get up, you see Cass
Usual suspects.
Crocheting. Still keeping an eye on the horizon because she doesn't need to actually look at what she's doing. It's mainly just so her hands fidget. She is keeping an eye on things, though.
I don't mind. It can get pretty boring up here. Just don't fall asleep. Okay. And she's going to pull some... Actually, you have yarn. That's going to work better. If you're going to sit there and crochet, you might want to make yourself some earplugs.
Why?
Are you counting the one in your hands?
There be creatures coming around the corner, potentially. You've heard myths about sirens, right?
He's just gonna go.
Those are real?
Still counts.
I haven't personally ran into one, but there are too many stories to not discount it. Siren's Cove is around the corner.
Oh, and okay.
So what I'm asking you to do is to keep an eye out. If you see strange movements, if you hear music, pop those things in your ears and give us a warning.
See, I can do that.
You'd probably be the safest one up here at this point because you'd be the furthest away. But you're also going to be our first
To see it.
to see it.
Okay. I can keep an eye on things. What do they look like?
Some say half merfolk. Some say look like sailors shipwrecked on rocks. Some say beautiful women. There's not a firm account. The worst part is hearing it.
Which half is the fish?
Again, there's not a firm account.
So potentially something that could be fish from the half up or fish from the half down. Okay.
In all honesty, nobody should be sitting out on rocks by themselves.
Okay. If I see anything, I'll yell down.
Then Smoke will go and grab one of the ropes and start swinging down, just like she's been born on the ship.
And it just looks awesome. No risk for this. It's clear weather. The ship isn't going particularly fast because of the winds. Anyone out on deck just watches Smoke grab the rope and
so
look.
jealous right now.
Awesome.
I'm gonna head over to where Junie's at since he's less mobile being on rope duty, and then Mez.
Mesara, who is openly practicing her swordplay to show off for all the deckhands. This is why you listen to me. I starts skipping over. Skipping is safer than walking at this point.
I am just going to pull out of my medical bag, little bit of gauze, little bit of wax, mash them together, and hand a set of essentially wax earplugs to both of them. So evidently they're singing fish people, and if you hear it, it's bad.
Okay.
So
I feel like you should elaborate.
no. Just if somebody says something about singing fish
No.
people.
You can't be saying that and not elaborating. You can't be telling me that there are singing fish people. Like, I've heard of the Banshee.
The what? Okay.
We don't need to talk about
this
that.
is a lot like one of those, except it's in the water, and
Except they're not real.
well, we don't know if they're real or not. Wait, the Banshees or the fish people? Because the Banshee's real.
We'll be coming back to that point in a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely want to get back to that.
Why? You know, there are times where I have to question when people believe that, the king is immortal and such, and then there are questions like this that makes me believe the fact that he might be half fae. You're making me question things, Kristoff, that I don't intend to be questioning in my life.
It's a big ocean, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions in it. And one of those questions currently is, are singing fish people who will lure you overboard and, if I understand correctly, try to either eat you or copulate. I don't know which it is.
I'm sorry? What do you mean copulate?
I feel like you are explaining this really badly.
I probably am.
Just to, get
if you want details, then you can get them from Smoke later.
Okay.
My understanding of the situation is that there are seductive singing fish people, but
Why
you
are they
don't want to hear
seductive?
them.
Why are they seductive?
Well, either it's their voices or they're very homely fish people. I don't know. I've never seen one.
Does that mean that it puts you at more at risk than myself?
No, I think it just puts Junie more at risk.
Hey!
Junie is always at risk, let's be honest.
Hey! I'm standing right here.
Aye,
Well, that's your job,
Get back
so
to the rigging.
good at you.
At that point, Smoke will actually land behind them because they're like right there at the bottom since they're at Junie's station. Be like, I told Kristoff to tell you.
Aye?
Not
And,
every legend of the ocean is just a story. And there's too many stories for us to not put at least a little bit of stock and take precaution. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I feel like we should be questioning why there's stories out there that have these things in them.
Because they could be real.
Why?
Ooh.
Have
Well,
you
it's
taken
come
the
from
time to
two
explore the
places.
entire world?
Truth
There are
and
so many
boredom.
creatures.
Well, I've only been in big cities where I can steal things. So, when it comes to banshees, a little bit out of my depth.
Was meaning to be leaving the Fae stories back at home, where at least there was some truth to the matter, and for the matter, they're likely more to be sorcerers and the like than they are to be. In any case, why? Why are these a thing? Why are we going to a place where we have to be dealing with more things like this?
We're trying to get past them.
Great, can we go around it?
Not without missing our mark.
Fuck.
12 to 20 hours is the detour.
Wait, is this the first time she's like cursed?
No.
No? Okay. I'm going to make sure.
I'm the one that doesn't curse.
Okay. I knew one of
You
the
might
friends
not
that
have
been cursed.
heard her curse specifically.
I think that's the first capital F we've heard from her.
Yeah.
That
was not
isn't just a
an
capital
aside.
F, that isn't just a capital F fuck. That is a capital FUCK fuck.
Right.
Mez, I want to take us the fastest and safest route possible. The problem
This
is
does not sound the fastest or the safest if we're going to end up seduced by merfolk.
It's the fastest, and if you put the wax in your ears, then you won't have to sex a fish person. So it's perfectly safe as well.
I have concerns regarding that particular statement.
I'm going to see my way out of this. Get it? See?
Oh,
I
I feel like I'm hearing this at this point. I feel like you're yelling.
You definitely heard the fuck. Like you
I heard the fuck.
fuck.
That's when I tuned in, and then I heard sex. And I was just like, hold on.
I'm gonna go and help with the ropes some more. Junior's gonna turn.
So I'm putting these into my ears. You're putting some into your ears because I don't need to be witnessing that.
We all are. We all have. Even Cass has some up there making some.
All
The
right,
rest of
then.
the crew is getting some as well. Jonathan's making sure of that.
Am I allowed to stab them if they start doing anything untoward?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's your
All right.
job.
I'm
Keep them
going to
from
be
getting on
focusing
board.
on that. I'm going to be focusing on that, and we're not going to be discussing the rest of this ever again. So I'm going to go and do
At
this.
this point, Jonathan walks up and goes, "Now, lass, don't you need to have to worry none. We're a good day or two away from the cove. We got to pass.
That just means that I have more time to be worrying and considering about all of this.
Just if you hear random singing where there shouldn't be random singing, put them in your ears."
So you're telling me I'm not allowed to sing on board?
You can sing. If everyone knows you're singing, that's fine. We're talking if you hear random singing off the boat in the middle of the ocean.
And if I'm to be waking in the middle of the night and decide to take a walk and do a little bit of singing, are you going to be telling me that I'm going to be overboard?
Yeah, I'll throw you overboard.
Okay.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Tough love smoke style.
Hi.
Right. So I'm not to be worrying, except when I'm worrying. And I'm not to be listening, except when we're listening.
Right.
Well, it's like you fight lots of people with swords. I saw your pin.
Aye.
I got a sword.
Aye.
Are you worried about it?
Aye.
No, you're not. You haven't even looked at it twice. Now, if I pulled it, you might worry then.
Now, here's
It's
the
there.
difference. I'm aware of the fact that it's there. I'm aware of the fact that you can be pulling it. I'm aware of the fact that it takes you less than 5 seconds to be pulling it.
Well, the good news, ma'am, respectfully, is the ocean's a really big place. And yes, there are siren folk. But they could be
maybe.
everywhere at once.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who told you maybe?
Maybe we don't keep saying that out loud.
Right. I'm going to be saying to my job, your deckhands, when they're not doing the deckhand things, will be saying to me, so that way I can ensure that their knife work and their sword work is where it should be.
Why? Hey, Jessa, how long do you get started on lunch? We'll learn a thing or two about the sword.
Hi.
So grab mine.
I'm going to be doing this. You all discuss the copulating merfolk.
Cass is staring at Jessa from the top of the crow from the crow's nest. Isn't that the cook from Edmundo's?
Oh, right. Yeah, you all have definitely seen this.
Yeah.
We had to take a piece of the
Seriously,
baseball.
the cook from, let us not forget, the Beso de Serena. While we are trying to forget about kissing mermaids, is now going to come, and what I'm sure seemed like a great joke when Mez put her forward for hiring for this position.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I have 2 in aim, meaning if I'm thinking this correctly, I'm not that bad at shooting.
You're not
Right.
bad at shooting a pistol with 2 in aim.
What about a rifle? Do I need a certain amount of aim for a rifle?
No, they don't really do specializations or anything like that. But with the way you move, rifles are really
clunky.
really clunky.
Okay.
And actually, they're not even really, like, they're not rifled. They're just bigger muskets. They do have longer range, but they are a bear to aim.
My
Are
next question.
cannons weaponry or are they aim?
Cannons would be aim.
So my next question is palm pistol or crossbow?
Totally up to you. Totally up to you. Whatever you think Juniper style would be.
I use knives.
Would it be on the ship? Is my question.
If you would have brought it.
Okay, cool. No, I would have brought a crossbow. It's easier.
Like you all had hours to prepare for this trip. So
okay, cool. Yep, I would have brought one tiny crossbow. I have to reload it one shot. You know, I'm not gonna use it much because I punch people in the face a lot. But
Get the drop on someone.
yeah, that's my point. Also, the loud noise it will probably give away any type of position.
I will say, what the distinction made with guns, when you shoot something with a pistol, it is an automatic dramatic wound and cannot be dodged. The crossbow is not going to have either of those advantages. It will do a certain number of wounds that might lead to a dramatic, and it will be dodgeable.
More so like ooh, I got hit by an arrow. Not expecting a knee to the chest.
Yeah. just as the heads up, that will be the mechanical difference. Okay. Also, the crossbow will probably be a lot faster to reload because you don't have to handle powder and
Oh, okay. Oh, so we're going with old school.
Oh yeah, this is established. It takes 5 raises to reload a pistol.
Holy shit. Okay.
It is not fast.
Good to know. Okay.
That is established lore. So
I love that. Okay.
So as the ship is continuing on, you see Smoke relax more than you've seen her anywhere else. Like, she is completely at home, at ease on this ship. It's moving and swaying, not any problems. Where Mez is like at 99% form, but every now and then the sea might, like, as she's trying to do some of her sword play, Smoke is totally at ease with it.
Yeah, the waves refuse to match the rhythm of your Aldana song, and it's starting to piss you off.
What do you do with a drunken Junie? What do you do with a drunken Junie? While I'm pulling on ropes.
Actually, yeah, almost immediately once folks get into the rhythm of the trip, I'm going to go ahead and say Timothy, who is about... He's not obviously there's not 2 people in the crow's nest, but he's up in the rigging, and he just starts calling out bits of random songs and shanties, and the others on the deck pick up the song. Just partially it helps with the, like, Junie, you quickly learned that the rhythms of the songs kind of help with the tugs of the ropes and helps everyone tug at the same time when that needs to be happening. And there's just this, and you realize that they're kind of picking the songs almost subconsciously to match what the waves are doing at the time, and it's a really neat kind of sensation. The younger kids, Jonathan has an impressively good voice. Not many of you would have caught it, but like it's not beautiful, but you can hear it and it's on tune, and it kind of matches his style of here's what we're doing. Does Smoke join in on the singing?
Of course she does.
All
She's
right.
been singing these since she was born.
Mm-hmm.
Well, knee high.
Yeah.
Cannibal.
Cass may be sitting in the crow's nest, but her crocheting rhythm has 100% gone to is going to the song of the music.
Mesara finds out that you can do the Aldana ruse to shanties, and it helps combat the wave issue.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh.
Junie can hold a tune.
I'll go and relieve Rosa from the helm and be up there and watching for the next watch.
Mm-hmm. You get up and you're all moving, and you are starting to come up on, let me just double check the map, make sure I am not misleading you, from San Juan. Yep. So after a few hours of sailing, you are passing the small port city of Reina de Mar, which you know is about, call it 2/3 of the way between San Juan and San Cristobal. And marking it, Jonathan goes to the charts, jots down a few notes, and comes out. You know your business, ma'am. We're making as good time as can be expected at this time of year.
It just took getting into a little rhythm.
Well, if we're risking the cove and the reef, we'll really get to see what you do.
The question is what time do you think we're going to be running by it? Do you think it's going to be evening or morning?
I would have said morning without any question, but with the time we're making, there's a chance it'll be dawn. Early dawn.
If the weather stays good, I'd say let's let as many people sleep early as possible.
Aye.
And then wake everybody up and have them at hand at the ready when we get close to the cove. Just to be safe.
Aye. Also, do you always buy rations this good? I took a look at what we had in the hold, and it's amazing.
I try and buy decent rations, and then the princess decided that she needed to help out. And I'm not going to tell her no.
Neither would I. She's going to be okay. She seemed a little spooked.
Reasons.
Huh.
She'll be fine.
Lubbers, what can you do?
At this point, it's like really late, right?
Not really. We're getting on. You're coming up on lunchtime, probably.
Lunchtime.
This is going to be a bit of a trip. This is not going to be a quick whip around the corner.
If Junie can catch Mez alone, would I be able to?
I mean, I guess if she would ever decide to go below decks, does she decide to go below decks?
The child has insomnia. There's going to be time at some point in the evening where
that's what I was saying, because he also has insomnia too. So like,
they've probably both at like the Beso de Serena been like, "Oh, you couldn't sleep either? Cool, you want to go for a walk?"
I'm gonna steal that. Don't worry about it.
Okay, fair enough.
You walked past Kristoff being awake and gone on walks without inviting him.
So rude.
I'm sorry. That's brother/friend. You don't invite dad on the walks where you talk about stuff.
Let's be real. Kristoff and Smoke were 100% chilling by the fire, just being old people together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Sharing monster stories.
Yes. But
so,
yes, whenever I can catch Mez.
Moving along. Yeah, real quick. If you see Mez go down below deck, and you can kind of catch her as you go down and have. I mean, there's never going to be a ton of privacy on the ship. Like, there's always people moving around, but for the most part, this is a pretty skeleton crew. So most of the crew stays above deck, and they just kind of move around between jobs to try to keep from getting too lulled by the habit.
So Junie has a feathered earring, and he will, in front of Mez, take it off and hand it out to her. Here you go.
Here I go, what?
I can tell that you're not... I'm not good at this. You're not incredibly comfortable with everything that's been going on, and if you need to talk, I don't sleep, so you can.
Neither of us sleep.
And hopefully this will bring you comfort, because it's like having a little piece of me with you. I have that since I was a kid, so I'm not good at this. I don't know if this is a good gift. Does this make you feel better? I'm trying.
She will lift up onto her tiptoes and gives him like a kiss on the cheek, and just kind of, it helps. And then she will actually attach it to her brooch.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go pull the fuck out of some ropes now.
I'm going to tend to the sword, so that way, in case anything does happen, it's ready.
Mm-hmm. What would you do with a drunken Junie? Just fucking up. He goes back to pull ropes.
The trip goes on. You're passing by San Cristobal. There's a fair amount of merchant trade in and out of that port, it being the capital. And so that takes a little bit of kind of tricky sailing just to not slow down any more than you have to, because you do not want to lose momentum with this kind of sailing without, ever being on a collision course with another ship. Being so small, that involves a fair amount of you like making way for galleons that absolutely are not going to stop for anything. Cass, you find out you actually have a fair amount to do, just sort of, you know, calling out different sales and stuff like that. Timothy, who's up there with you, kind of feeds you different terms and stuff like that to kind of help out with, okay, now here's what you do here, here's what you do here. You get the impression he might, it's a little bit novel to him to have someone who's not a regular member of the crew up there with him. You get the impression that often maybe he's the one in the crow's nest, but he doesn't seem to mind it too much and is kind of helping you out with that sort of thing.
Usually there's also a
Nighttime one.
Better than
What?
Normally there's a what? Sorry,
I heard something else in the background. Normally there's also a chest that would be up there that would have our flags. And in this particular ship, there would be like a Castilian flag, and there would be the La Buca flag, because that's where this ship was originally from. And he would help you point those out as well. And you could see the different flags, and when we would run them up, there's a plague flag, other various flags in that chest, as they are important to signaling other ships for us.
and as you're moving through, Jonathan is sort of leaning against one of the rails and looking around, and is like, not a lot of Inquisition ships to see, I'm noticing. Trade seems to be moving faster than usual without them getting in the way.
I'm okay as
Do
long
they
as it's
sail a
not
lot?
ice. Like
Sorry, what?
ice.
Do they sail a lot?
Decent amount around here, trying to keep an eye on things. You know the Inquisition.
See.
So
Usually smaller ships. If they ever need muscle, they go to the Navy.
But Castille doesn't have much of a navy, right?
you do that.
Well, mostly destroyed in the war. Or
Jonathan,
caught in piracy.
there's that. How long has it been since the Inquisition ships have been not around? Do you know?
Well, I heard, and all of a sudden he's from Texas. I heard rumors that they. I mean, I've been in port with you for the last couple of weeks, but they. For a while there, they were going up and down the coast, pretty quick, like they were looking for something. But that was a few weeks ago. No, up until about a week ago, and then not a lot of sign of him now. But and he kind of gestures towards the fort. He's like, "There's an Inquisition flag. There's an Inquisition flag. There's a church flag, but might as well be an Inquisition flag. They're around. They're just not sailing."
Interesting. Well, I believe lunch should almost be ready. Might want to get the rotations down, get a few people.
All right. And as the crew takes a break to eat some lunch on this trip, we're going ahead and take a break ourselves. We will see you all in about 10 minutes. Welcome back. So, the ship has been moving along. The Cerulean Tides has been moving along for a while, and the crew has gotten into a rhythm. They've been singing the songs and teaching the new crew members the shanties. Some communications have happened as folks are getting into the moment, and they have now sailed past the city of San Cristobal and seen all the trade, and are now moving towards the peninsula of San Teodoro. But this is a complicated place because through this they are coming up on what is known as the Siren's Cove, a series of islands and reefs off of the coast of Castille where the sailing can get a little bit tricky, a little bit rocky, and enough crew survive these events that stories just grow and grow and grow. And usually when a man whose job is to steer the ship and would really like his job to be to steer the ship again, he wants a reason for why it happened. And Pretty Woman sang song and I steered ship wrong works in a lot of sailor ports. But that always leaves the question, is it real? Is it just a particularly dangerous bit of sea? What is the actual deal going on? And so as you're coming up on this series of reefs and islands and various coves that are known generally as the Siren's Cove, what is Captain Smoke doing to prepare her crew? It is early morning, but everyone has gotten their rest as she instructed them. The sun is beginning to come up. The sun is not up yet, but the sky is lightening, but you are definitely entering into the waters of the cove.
So I would order everyone up quietly, all hands on deck. Getting people in positions to fight if necessary. I would say to have everybody put one earplug in, just in case, because then if you have to pull the other one and you're only fighting with one. And then I will be the one at the helm, steering through this, because it's not, whether the sirens are real or not, there are rocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually another reason for these legends to start. So I will be steering us through the dangerous parts of this.
Okay. And you are choosing a dangerous, fast route, but that is just in general. You could have gone the long way around this, but as the captain said, that could have added as much as a day to your trip when time was very much of the essence. But now here you are, and you are looking at the paths around you. And again, the further you go from land, the safer in general the passage is going to be. So do you hug the coast super tight, let the tide and the wind coming off of the land propel you? Because as you are making this turn around the peninsula, you are starting to pick up winds that you haven't had to this point, and you can kind of see like this fast route. It's like, if you're playing Mario Kart and you see where the arrows on the ground that like launch you forward are, like you can see a path that you just know will be, with the way the islands and stuff are set up, you'll be able to get some good wind going through there. There's a middle way that's a kind of mix between risk and reward, and then the longer, safer way. And depending on how the winds go, it could be hours of difference between them.
So at this point, I would like to activate my my tattoo.
Okay.
And activate the minor, which does not require a hero point, thankfully. Hopefully, I'm checking. But that's the one that does not allow things to escape my notice.
Okay.
And I want to be watching as we are going. We are going to stay hugging towards the shore because that wind is going to get us through this faster. Mm-hmm. Where if we're going outside of it, we're going to be in this dangerous area longer.
All right. Okay, so you're going to know that the rocks are there. It's not going to be a question of does something sneak up on you. It's with the speed you are going, are you able to maneuver around it? This, as you might have guessed, is a risk.
Am I able to assist her in a way by kind of using my vantage point to try to help
You
her
were going
navigate?
to be able to, but because she's activated the ability, you're not going to be able to. You were going to be able to like shout out various rock things that she might not have been able to see, but she's going to see them
Okay.
because she's activated the sorcery. So
The sorcery only is living things.
Oh,
No.
then yeah.
Rocks
All
and
right.
stuff don't count. So it's like it's living things. Like that's what I'm
Good.
not going to do.
Good distinction. So yeah, first let's see how Cass does. So Cass, we are going to need your we're gonna need your wits and your notice.
And it's because it's it's the roll, like new set.
Yep, flair.
One for flair.
Wits and notice for flair, and the better you do, so there is a risk of, let's call it 3 hits to the ship's own death spiral. Rocks that you miss as you are helping navigate through these very dangerous waters.
I got 4 raises. I critted twice.
Nice, with 4 raises.
No leftover. All the dice.
No leftover. Cass is just calling out the rocks, and you know they're all coming. And with your heightened sensitivity, you're not immediately seeing any living activity in the reefs, supernatural or otherwise. So and now you navigating around the rocks that Cass shouted out to you. I will say there are 2 chances for wounds to the ship and 1 opportunity that I will reveal more later if you choose to take advantage of it. And that is going to be your finesse and sailing.
Okay. How much does the ship have the same amount of wounds as us, or is it like less?
Ships exist like characters, and it has a death spiral similar to any other character.
Cool. I just want to make sure I had the right amount on there. So you said finesse and sailing.
Finesse and sailing.
This is a first time doing this, so it gets the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 in sailing,
Mm-hmm.
which means I can re-roll a single die. So I'm going to try and re-roll one of them.
Yep.
I still end up with 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. All right. You know that Smoke is the captain. Kristoff, you've seen her sail before. But this is something different. Like, Smoke is hearing Cass call out, is shouting out instructions to the crew, and it's like the ship is just this extension of her, and her eyes just around catching everything. There's times when one of the new deckhands, and another time when I'm going to pick on, let's say, Mez, is standing in kind of an awkward place where this turn is going to be, where there's a danger. And without ever even really looking at her, Smoke calls out,
Mez, to the right.
Mez moves over, and the boom of one of the of one of the sails just barely misses her, and you don't even break your concentration. And the ship is just moving through and moving around, and it's a harrowing hour of in and out and around the rocks. Kristoff, there's a couple times when you would kind of out of curiosity glance down the side into the water, and you see reef like this alongside the side of the ship without ever making contact, but it was right there as Smoke just takes the best line through this bit of a reef, avoiding any damage, no knocks. Folks who aren't as aware of what's happening are like, huh, everyone talked about how dangerous this was going to be, but apparently it's fine. And this is one of the places right along here where the road from San Cristobal to the city of Rioja is along the shore. And as you're moving along, taking this very dangerous path and pulling out along, you do see what appears to be a caravan. Cass, you are actually the first to see this as you're kind of looking around and you're like, okay, we're through the reefs. Everything's fine. You glance over on the road and you see a caravan, a number of wagons. And you see them flying the Inquisition flag, and they are moving quick.
Cass is going to alert Smoke that the quarry is that the quarry's in sight on the road on land.
From the maps earlier,
Mm-hmm.
would there be a place, like with the speed that we're going, that I could pull the ship close enough or pull it in far enough that most of them could probably dock or jump?
There is actually a place a little bit ahead. It's one of those smuggler stops that you're pretty aware of for folks who are doing stuff around San Teodora, that you're pretty sure not only could you get to land and get everyone on the ground, you could get a little bit ahead because you are now definitely moving faster than that caravan, and you could get 20 minutes, a half hour ahead of them and leave the ship mostly, you think, secured. Congrats. You stealed the ship very fast. You took the fastest route and you went perfectly through it. You got the chance to cut him off early.
Okay. Then that's the way we're going to head. And I will thank you, Cass and Kristoff. There's a Smuggler's Cove coming up ahead. I'm going to be pulling us into it. We need to get off quickly to cut them off. We'll have just enough time. I'm going to leave Jonathan here with the crew to make sure that the ship is ready to leave as quickly as possible. None of them are going to be allowed to join land.
Sounds good. Cass, how many of them were there?
Cass is still up in the crow's nest for now.
I'm in the
Right,
crow's
well.
nest.
I'll ask when she's down and we're ready to disembark then, I guess.
All right. As you are making your way towards this cove and Cass is able to come down, it's hard to tell. Like, there were probably about 6 guards wearing Inquisition colors. It's often hard to tell when someone is an actual Inquisitor and when they are just a guard who happens to be wearing the livery. So what did I say? 6 on horseback, and who knows how many more, but there were 3 wagons, so there could be as many as 20 of them.
Gotcha. I'll make a note. I make a note of that, and we'll relay it once we hit land.
Timothy's up there in the crow's nest. You can come down a little bit earlier to relay the information.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll have Timothy switch out with me since he's done this longer, so I'm assuming he's better anyway. And Cass will just like head on down the rigging, land very easily and agilely, and she'll head over to Kristoff and Smoke, who I assume are at the wheel.
Oh, and actually, as you're on the way down, Timothy congratulates you for how you handled the cove. He was like, that was very well done.
Thank you. Gracias. And she'll head on down. And when she'll go up to Smoke and Kristoff. About 3 wagons, 6 riders, and could be about 20 of them. I don't know. I can't anticipate how many there were in the wagons.
Land is your thing, Kristoff. I'll leave you to plan that.
Split them up. Got some thoughts on that. Just depends on the terrain we're working with. So, with, I guess, combination of the view that I have of the shore and everything, any of the maps at our disposal, the spyglass that I may or may not end up having to ask Smoke to use, could I make a wits and warfare to identify a opportune ambush point?
Absolutely.
Specifically a point where I could split them up. Because
Okay.
I have an idea. Cool.
Here, have a spyglass.
He needs to buy that exact same one now.
Pass it through the internet.
Yeah, that's 5 raises.
Dang. All right. Yeah. All risks averted. You in Eisen, you got used to being outnumbered by fresh young soldiers, and you learned old age and guile tends to beat youth and exuberance so long as guile has a chance to prepare. You are Batman, and you've had time to prepare. So you and what you're able to identify is there is a place where the path gets. It's not a very sandy bit of beach here for the most part. It's a very kind of rocky shore, and the obviously because it eventually led into the cove. And there's places where you can tell that the wagons are probably going to have a little bit of time maneuvering, so they're going to have to slow down significantly. And there are plenty of copses of trees along the way that break up lines of sight and view, and you're able to spot the one really kind of best case scenario for an ambush, where you could probably hit at least the first wagon on its own. And the others would have to still come through you just because there isn't a whole lot of options in this one choke point.
Oh, it's perfect. We're going to split them up. This is my plan. Or, I guess. All right, here's my plan. Point out the best choke point, the place where the wagons are going to be slowed the most. We get to this spot. That's a good place to ambush. Once they're in range, I'm going to walk out right there in the open, and I'm going to flag them down. Assuming they've left the city, they know about the ghoul problem we had back there. I'm going to tell them that's not an isolated incident. There are more of them that washed up, and it's worse than what was in the city. We can take care of it if we're careful and we have numbers. I'm going to recruit some of them to help me clear that, leaving the caravan less guarded. The lot of you can move in to take care of the caravan. And if we need to, with a little bit of prep work, Junia, I'm guessing you might be able to maybe get into some of those wagons without anybody seeing.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'll be like the wind.
I'm okay. I'm kind of okay at that too.
Now, I got one question, Cass. Let it be known that I'm not in favor of killing much of anybody. And I'm going to admit, I barely understand what it is we're even doing here. I just know there's a crown. We need to get it, and it's important enough to risk lives. If we need to put the blade to some of those inquisitors, where do we stand with that?
If we need to put the blade to them, she's hesitating because she's never had to make this call before, and she's just a little struggling because she grew up in an Inquisition household.
If it were me, I would assume every Inquisition agent out there is a monster. But you seem to indicate that some of them are decent folk, just in a bad organization.
See. I don't anticipate, if everything goes right, hopefully, and it will, I don't anticipate us needing to use violence at all if needed, but if it does come down to violence, we won't have much choice.
Well, it's going to get a little weird when I lead them up ashore and they find out there's no ghouls, but...
Don't go alone, then.
I'll figure it out when I get there.
There's also the matter of the fact that at least yourself, Kristoff, and me are known in part.
I'm known in part, but you think a bunch of Castilians really can tell the difference between one Eisner and another?
Also, I'm
If they
sure.
see in our face.
What was that?
I was gonna say I'm sure that we have some sailor clothes that would fit you, Mez.
Hi.
And
Go do the thing.
I think that would sufficiently hide you.
Jessa is actually a little bit taller than Mez, but not a lot, and of a similar build, and so is able to supply her some fairly normal sailor clothes.
Mez always brings her page boy clothes just in case. Because that's her adventuring outfit. I don't want to be noticed, so I need to go pretend to be a boy really quick.
Well,
So
I suppose it might be better to have you there trying to convince a bunch of Inquisitors than me. We've seen how well it goes when I try talking to folk.
Aye, but we can be doing it together the way that we did San Cristobal.
I think that works. Just... yeah.
However, we are semi-close to San Cristobal, so they might be knowing you as the guard captain.
I thought he was a lieutenant.
Oh, aye, it was the lieutenant.
Oh.
you are actually well past San Cristobal at this point. You're
Okay.
much closer to San Teodoro, which I don't believe the party has visited yet.
No. But they're going to know us eventually.
Welcome to the Castille tour.
Aye, all right, so I'm going to go
So
get
Mez and
changed
I
real
will-
quick. We'll do...
Split up half of them, and the three of you do whatever you need to do to get a fancy hat.
So based on you're going to have about 15 minutes of prep time while the ship gets into position, and then unless they change the pace they've been going at, you guess you probably have about a half hour or 45 minutes before they will get to the ambush point.
Okay.
On the ship, do we have spare clothes and wood? I'm guessing we probably have some wood available.
Yes, they have wood available for repairs.
Cool. We are going to get some spare clothes. My prep time is basically going to be just throwing some of that in the water, throwing some of it along the beach, and breaking up some boards to basically make it look like there's some flotsam and or jetsam. I'm not sure which is which, but that way there's evidence and things that will require slow going and poking. My entire plan is to just have Mez and I buy as much time as possible, and then we'll figure out how to escape when we need to. That's the tricky part.
All right. So that gets all prepped, and then you all start heading up the beach just to get a good look at the ambush point where you and Mez will kind of meet the Inquisitors, and you get a bit of a surprise as you are heading that way. You're walking up, and you see that it seems the Inquisition, aware of this location, had sent a small scouting team ahead to make sure it was clear before the full body of the team, but they are already engaged in a fight. You can see about 5 of these Inquisitors, swords out, trying desperately to get a handle on someone who is fighting them. And at a distance, it's kind of hard to see much about him, but it's a bigger guy. He's got long gray hair that's tied behind his back, and he is fighting. He's clearly a talented fighter, but he seems to be mixing and going back and forth. Mez and Smoke would notice this between different schools. One moment he's fighting like he's an Ambrosia. Another moment a dagger comes out, and he's doing that particular school. And it's a combination, like he's switching between strength and speed, and it's really hard to kind of get a bearing on him. But these 4 guys are desperate. These, what did I say, 4 or 5 Inquisition guards are desperately trying to keep this guy from getting any of them, and not having a whole lot of luck with it. What are we doing?
Oh, I'm
I'm
helping.
in charge of the Inquisition agents.
Yeah.
All right, you all start rushing up. It's like, oh, you Castilian bastards, just let me get through here, would ya? A thick Inish accent drifting to you all as this figure continues spinning around, and you watch one of the Kristoff, you got your sword. You're charging forward. You're ready to help, and then you watch this guy make a move with the sword. A bit ago, you could have sworn he was fighting with a rapier, and now it seems like he's got a bastard sword in his hands. You didn't see him switch, and he gets this like deep cut, and it just sends this guy flying, like flies back with this deep cut. He crashes into the rock, and he falls down. And the figure turns around. It's like, "Oh, you're lot here to join us, are ya?"
I have put the mask on, by the way.
Okay.
Well, we were intending to at first, but it seems as though you've got it quite handled.
And he's kind of moving around and he's fighting, and almost in no time at all, the rest of the guards they turn and they see you down, and he just moves around and is basically just pommeling them in the head, and just bam, bam, bam. And he turns around and sets that the now full-length floor is kind of stuck into the ground, and he rests on it, and he's breathing like he's kind of exerted himself, and he looks, and his hair deep over his back, he hears the voice. It's like, voice from home. You look familiar. And Mez, you are looking at the O'Bannon, King of Inishmore. You're the O'Toole girl, aren't you?
Oh, fuck. Well, that lasted all of 5 seconds. That would be me.
Was that supposed to be a disguise, then?
You know, it works on most Castilians. They don't expect me to be.
They've never seen through it.
Hate to break it to you, dear, you're still you in pants.
I would certainly hope so.
So, I appreciate you allowed me the rest. You have the look of bandits coming up. As you can see, I have very little treasure on me. I wouldn't recommend the fight.
No,
No.
sir.
You know, you are the spitting image of the gal I left in charge when I left last time. What was her name? She wasn't an O'Toole then, but
Well,
marriage, what can you
changed
do?
hands a little bit here or there.
So,
Aye.
it's a good ambush spot.
That was the intent.
So
O'Bannon?
you're being a bit rude. I know her, I don't know the rest of you.
I will speak for myself. I am Reina de Gustavo.
Castilian, can you tell the difference when she's in pants?
Now, yes. First time, I didn't know who she was.
Fair.
Man, quick
failed.
question.
Aye.
Is he a friend, or are we supposed to be killing him?
That's my king.
Oh, and I'm being rude myself.
If
People
you
call me
want-
the O'Bannon.
You know,
Are
not
you shitting me?
No.
No. Do you see how much she's squirming?
That's a good point.
She doesn't usually squirm this much. She's more confident than this usually.
Kristoff looks around. Where the hell did Cass go? Points at the woman in the mask. Hey, you're one of that vagabundos?
See? See?
Oh, you're one of those masked adventurer types. It suits you. What's your name?
Cass.
Cass.
Kristoff happens to sneeze at the exact moment she says her name.
Gladden doesn't notice. He looks at us like, yeah, I've heard of you lot. Are you, well, I hope you'll not take offense if I say that you're obviously not him.
No, I wouldn't be him because I am her.
Indeed. And then again, if she can fool people by putting on pants, maybe you could fool them by putting on a skirt. And you. Let me guess. You're from Montaigne, aren't you?
Holy shit.
Oh. When you fought as many Montagnans as I have, you see the way they step, the way they move. You look like a man who loves to fight. Like you keep throwing punches till you can't throw no more. And you know what that is? And he steps right up to you. That's the kind of man I'd like to have a drink with at some point. Fortunately, what's your name first?
My name is Juniper. Nice to meet
So
you.
good to meet you, Juniper. Unless, well, I'd say we should fight now just because it'll be fun. And we got time to pass.
No, we don't have time to pass.
No.
Because you see, I hear these Inquisition boys that are coming up.
Aye.
They got a crown on them.
Aye.
And I'd like to take a look at it.
Oh.
Cass is narrowing her eyes at him through the mask.
Sir.
It's a crown that we are going to return to the rightful king.
Well, good for you. I'm
Castille.
here then.
The rightful king of Castille.
I'm certain that taking a look at it isn't going to be doing any harm so long as we be passing it back.
It's the bloody Castilian crown.
Aye.
How many lost magical crowns are there? It's bloody ridiculous.
A number of them, I'm certain, but
Come all the way out here. This fight was shite.
Well, and she's gonna look at Kristoff. Kristoff here and your countrywoman are going to be distracting half of them. Might turn into a fight.
We could use the help if 10 on 3 sounds better than 5 on 1.
Or 15 on 3. They might even send more.
How do you feel about playing a ghoul?
A ghoul, you say? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Eisen. A new Eisen.
You, good at making moaning noises? Oh, that came out wrong.
What the
He
fuck?
smiles. He's like, I've been called a bit of a screamer in my time, yes.
Oh my
I regret
god.
everything leading up to this moment today.
not something I needed to know, Kristoff.
Perfect. That was golden. Kristoff.
I didn't. Is this
It's
like Cass is just like looking at
And to be
Mez and like
clear-
quietly whispering, "Is this how a king behaves?"
This is how my king behaves, aye?
Well, Mez seems to be okay with you, so I guess by
Oh,
proxy
she
that
may.
means I am as well. So I'll basically give him the super quick rundown of our plan and see if he wants to make ghoul noises for us to help distract him.
I can do you one better. It'll cost a favor, but
A favor to be had, sir, of course.
fine.
So
I'm
you're
going
telling
to
me
be-
we can...
And he looks around. Up there. And he points up into the trees.
Aye.
You'll have the ghoul sounds. There'll be plenty of them.
I believe
Not
we might.
actual ghouls.
Aye.
Just the ghoul sounds.
Grand.
You might want to be careful, though. Well, doing magic like this – tends to attract the sirens. They take it personal, like. And he walks over and just starts climbing the tree.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, what is it?
Which half is the fish?
Depends on how curious you get.
That's gross.
I still don't have an answer.
No, you're not
You know.
going to be getting one from him.
Nope. And you made a deal with the Fae.
I realize that.
Well, I was gonna try to
Keep this
interject,
over
there,
with.
but
I'm gonna go and
You might-
hide myself.
I think you can. He's just like he's right there. See his.
Actually, you look up and you don't see him.
Where did he go?
He does that. Specifically, he does that to the crown and to the throne.
Just disappears. Okay, that's not okay.
No.
Are you okay, Mess? Because you look like your stomach's upset.
That's my king, and he knows Mada, and Mada does not know that I am here.
What does your dad think you are?
He might think that I'm on a ship or a train bound to a place where I'm meant to be meeting my fiance.
Fucking what?
Plot thickens.
I second that notion. Fucking what?
Shut it! I was not speaking to you!
Oh, terribly sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna go hide in the trees. I'm just, you know what?
yeah, I'm also going to climb into a tree to get like a death from above sort of deal.
I'm going to be putting the disguise
for the record,
on.
Kristoff walked away like 5 minutes ago. He was done with this guy the moment we started talking, basically.
As
Kristoff
June is
hates
walking with
King.
Cass, fucking fiance? Fiance?
I don't know.
You know
That's-
how it is with nobles getting like paired off.
My
You
mother
don't
was
want
trying.
it?
My mother was trying to constantly pair me off with a fancy nobleman.
So this is just what people do. They just
For the record, there are currently 5 dead Inquisition guards.
Oh,
clearly
shit!
laying on the ground.
shit, yeah, we forgot about that.
They're dead.
I'm gonna grab him and put him in
He
the
killed them.
bushes.
He
So, magic man, king, god, deity, whatever you are, is there a chance you could disappear those?
I was going. Cass already has has the foot of one who was trying to drag
A
it.
wind blows through the pass, and suddenly the 5 bodies stand up. Now you all have fought ghouls up close. The movement is wrong. It is jerkier. It's more like puppetry, almost. And they open their mouths, and you hear, and they start making their way towards the water.
I'm so glad I'd already walked away.
You think that'll do the trick?
Very
See?
much so.
Climbing into the tree.
I'm going to go follow Kristoff.
You all have, at this point now, call it about 25 minutes before you're expecting the first wagon.
Okay. Cass, do you know how to do a run and dash?
Like you're already dashing as you start running.
Oh shit.
You press
Uh.
B twice, right? And then you do the...
No.
Up, down, left.
Run and dash. So, out of the two of us, who you think is faster?
Me.
First off, no.
It's probably me.
Anyway, then it can be you. But one of us grab, one of us run, one of us distract if we need to. But they're already doing the distraction, so all we gotta do is grab and run.
Okay.
Are you gonna be able to keep up with me? And also, as a
I don't know. Are
precaution-
you going to be able to keep up with me?
Ain't that bad? Well, hold on. And he'll go and he'll grab like an empty vial, and I'm willing to take a minor wound for this. He's gonna open up his finger and put his blood in the vial. If I can't get to the box that the crown is in, you put my blood on it, we get away, and I'll be able to get it later. You understand?
See.
Okay. Now it's very important that you put the whole vial,
See. Okay.
like pour the whole thing.
Okay. See. I think I understand. My father told me stories about you people and your witchcraft.
No, don't. You people. What do you mean by you people?
Blood witches.
Still, I'm not a blood. Don't call me a blood witch. I'm not a blood witch. I'm someone who knows how to use blood. I'm a blood witch.
You're a blood witch. That was crafty messing with me.
Yeah, I know. God damn it. Okay.
Love you, buddy.
Here we
Walking
go.
down the road.
Yes. Where's
All
your
right,
kid?
Mez and Kristoff have walked off a ways.
That was my king. That was my king.
So, you Inish royals are an interesting bunch. I don't think I like that one.
So technically I'm not much royalty. My family was the reigning family while he was out adventuring, and then he came back. Now we've the marriage lines and the things. There's some crossover, which is why we get to say things like princess and duke and all that. But he keeps coming back, Kristoff.
That just seems like an unreliable form of governance.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. Well, technically that's what my father is saying, but we don't talk about that.
So, did I overhear something about a fiance?
A might bit.
I'm gonna have to meet this young man then.
Not before I do. Not exactly certain who it is. You see, I was meant to be getting on a ship, and instead of getting on that ship, I got on the ship with you and Smoke. Which is why I was looking like this the first time that you met me.
All right then, screw that young man entirely. You just don't need to meet him.
Aye, that was some of the intent. And then I accidentally told all of Castille who I was.
Well, at least you and I share the mutual trait of being incredibly terrible at laying low. I hadn't walked into Cass's dad's house and done some hexen work right in front of him, but give it time, I'm sure we'll get to that point.
Can we not be doing that? I feel like that would make things unnecessarily difficult for Cass.
I have a feeling it'd be more difficult for me, but yeah, we'll try to avoid doing that.
Well, you see, I trust you to be getting out of that situation, but that situation means that you're either taking her father's head or getting yourself tossed into a jail and finding a way out from there.
Oh,
And that just puts her in a really bad place.
The second one.
Aye. So how are we going to be doing this?
Oh, well, once we can see the wagon approaching, we're going to get out from behind these rocks, and I'm going to wave them down and say something about ghouls. And then before I say something putting my entire boot in my mouth, you're going to speak up and explain the situation to them like you did when you convinced people I was a lieutenant.
I can do that, do we need to be a mite bit more convincing than just...
You just look like a page, don't you?
Aye.
Yeah.
It's alright, I can handle this. And she pulls out her rapier and literally slashes her side in order to create a minor wound and just let it bleed a little bit, and then takes that and makes handprints as though they were trying to grab and rip at her.
I'm going to, apologies, it's going to be a little cold, and I'm going to wipe the tip of my blade on that open wound. Next time, let me do the stabbing myself. You... But
I'm sorry, I'm very good at it.
That's weird.
Out of curiosity, what's Smoke doing at
Fair.
this particular moment? Who's she with?
I'm probably somewhere between the two. Like, I can probably kind of half hear Juniper and Cass arguing over there and talking what they're doing. I'm watching because there's a 50-50 chance that the caravan is going to see them and not care and keep going. So,
all right,
I'm preparing to possibly have to jump onto one of these.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the caravan is finally starting to pull up, and it's coming. The first of the wagons is now approaching the rocks.
Once they are reasonably close, I'm just going to move out from behind the rocks, kind of doing that slightly. I'm not crouching, but I'm not standing up straight. The like worried, like secretive, but totally out in the open. Weapon very obviously there. Basically, I could be a threat, but I'm making myself too obvious and just flag them down with the universal symbol for stop. And I'm going to get right in the middle of the road.
The wagon gets pulled to a stop before it's fully into the ambush point. And the driver looks at you and is like, "Boy, if this is an ambush, you're bad at it."
If this was an ambush, you think I would have given you warning?
That's what I meant.
You're an idiot.
Going on? Where are the scouts?
Oh, you had scouts out here?
Yeah, there are a couple choke points along the way, like this one, that they were supposed to make sure were clear before the main party came up on them.
Well, then there's a good chance that your scouts are dead and soon to be coming back.
What are you talking about?
And Mesara lets out a, as boyish as she can make this sound, given her everything, shout before stumbling out and falling against Kristoff, now looking very bloodied and bedraggled.
I'm going to catch him and help him up a little bit. And ghouls, you daft bastard. I assume you heard about the situation back in, was it San Juan?
Yeah.
Yeah, in San Juan.
That was supposed to have been handled.
It
Really
was,
not.
but it isn't the only incident that happened up the coast.
There were bodies. There were so many bodies everywhere.
Prophets preserve me. Stay there.
Why?
And he taps. He kind of bangs on the thing, and a couple of guards stick out, and they've got pistols aimed at both of you. But he goes and he starts conferring with them. They're like,
Those ain't gonna do no good.
"What do you mean?"
They don't work.
Pistols don't work
on them.
on the undead.
Well, we can't just... And there's snippets of a conversation going between them, a few references to it, and move with all speed, but also snippets of not worth dying for. I heard about this. I got family around here. I'm not going to let them just, get at by monsters. And damn, where?
Further up the coast, just past that wonderful ambush point you mentioned. Now, I was going to take care of them, but if you got scouts that came through here and got themselves killed and joined in their ranks, that puts the numbers higher than I necessarily am comfortable dealing with alone, and as you can see, my squire here is already suffering for it. if you've got men that know how to handle a blade and take orders, we can clear this together and you can get along with whatever profits be damned Inquisition business you're about out here.
All right. So you've given your full pitch. We are going to go ahead and call this panache and convince. I could be convinced to go for intimidate, if you prefer.
I prefer that slightly, and I don't know why I spoke instead of letting Mez do all the talking, other than I'm old and senile and forgot the plan.
To be fair, Sarah was doing her part looking terrified.
And you also don't know how to leave well enough alone.
No, I'm
none of
terrible
us
with
do.
that.
I am going to go
this time.
Yeah. Do you want Mesara to roll that as well?
What you can do is spend a hero point to add dice to his pool.
See, I don't know if I want to spend that hero point yet, or if I want to save that for a disarm and smile.
Your choice.
However, I will give you the hero point.
Yeah. Don't. Look, I'm
No?
metagaming the hell out of this. Don't keep it.
Okay. He's just like, no.
All right. This is undeniably a risk. And I am going to spend a danger point to raise the threshold of raises to 15.
Cool. Are you sure you want to spend that, Dan?
I got more.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to spend a hero point to use stare down, and they're basically going to listen to me without rolling.
All right.
I have convinced them of the threat.
Okay. Nice. Very nice. All right. So, yeah, you get insane, and they're all, because, I mean, they are on high alert. They know what they are transporting, but they're like, all right, we got a little bit of time. And so they pull the wagon off the road so that others can continue moving through. And a small platoon of about 5 Inquisitors, most with polearms, get out. And, all right, lead the way.
I'm going to look at Mez. I don't remember, we had a name for you, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, God.
Well, that's fine. I guess I forgot to
Make up a new one. Make up a new one.
I'm just gonna... Yosef, you want to come with us, or are you hanging back here?
I don't know if I can be facing them again.
You just sit tight. I'm going to take off my med pouch. I assume you can at least manage to patch yourself up.
Aye.
For the record, that is also where my pistol that I almost never use is.
The axe pistol?
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's as awesome as it sounds.
Yeah, I will then lead the group, and I will just begin calling out to them, giving them orders, putting them in formations, slowly, very slowly. We're going to get up to where we're kind of losing line of sight, and then we're going to move at a creeping snail's pace. As soon as we start seeing the bits of cloth and boards, the guys with the pole arms, I'm like, oh, stop, everybody, down, on your knee, or take a knee. You, with that, go, lift that, see if there's something underneath the cloth, and just as painstakingly as possible, start combing the beach.
And they are not fighting you. They have heard about how these clearing actions went, but none of them happen to be a part of it. And so you say careful, they're being careful, but you are aware of a growing sound of a moan, which is certainly helping. You weren't sure what you expected when he said he could handle it, and you didn't see his handling of it. So, but you still have some trees before you get to the surf, which is where he said the actual distraction would be. While this is happening, the other 2 wagons come up, and even though the road is not blocked, they stop. And one of the drivers stands up and goes, "It's completely abandoned. You, lad, where'd you come from?"
I was following the lieutenant. He was working on clearing out. There were rumors of ghouls in the area. And we found them.
Oh, prophets. And he kind of hops down and comes, "How bad are your wounds?"
Not bad, sir. Just one of them caught me on my side.
Well, we can't be staying here too very long.
Why?
All right. And he's kind of looking you over. What are you trying to get him to do in this moment, now that it's just you and this one driver?
Just me and this one driver. Mesara.
I mean, there are others in the vehicle.
Yeah, there are obviously others. He's just the one who's coming to talk.
Yeah.
We should probably get him back up. I don't know. Given everything, we should. I know you have a duty, and I'm not asking you to give it up, but you have a duty to the country as well. Aye?
You're not wrong.
I don't know if they can be handling it entirely on their own, or if there aren't more along the coast further.
All right. Well, now you may give me a panache plus convince.
Absolutely, I will.
I'm not going to spend an additional to raise it to 15 at this point, because clearly someone else has already someone else has made the hard decision, and so this guy isn't as hard to decide, and you don't look like you managed to kill a whole bunch of Inquisition soldiers. So
while this talk is happening, am I able to like determine which one is Smoke able to like are we getting any signs of which wagon it might be in?
Any of the three wagons, as far as you can tell, could hold them. They seem basically identical.
With the 3 in convince, I'm able to re-roll 1 dice.
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't recall how many dice.
If you have 3 in a skill, you can re-roll 1 die.
Rank 3 re-roll of a single dice. Rank 4 sets of 15 is.
So that is 3 with no leftovers.
Okay. On the 3 with no leftovers, the nervousness about what's happening, you manage to avoid any chance of people. And he goes back, and a large number of the contingent. The middle wagon, they leave a couple of guards standing near, but it seems like everyone gets out of the 3rd wagon. And they're not, like I say, wagons. They're covered.
Covered carriages.
Yeah. So
carriages.
Carriage is the better word.
So again, I put myself where I could watch
Mm-hmm.
their ambush and watch all of this so that I could relay back to these two.
Mm-hmm.
And the king.
The king, because he's up there hiding in the bushes and trees. When enough of them have left, I'd like to signal to them that that's where we want to go, the middle one.
All right. You all see Smoke give the signal.
Cass is gonna.
A voice kind of out of nowhere. You look and there's nothing there. Comes up and Cass is here. This is getting a little dull, don't you think?
I mean, do we have to?
I'm not going to stop you, sir. I just need to get that crown where it rightfully
Smoke
belongs.
doesn't hear this. This is just basically a voice in Cass's ear.
Do we have to? I mean, there's only 2 left.
You're right, it wouldn't be very fun.
If you wanted to have your fun, you would have joined Kristoff up with the ones that went up to the coast.
I think it's fun to fight puppets under your own control. Fine, just go do the thing. I'll be here if things get bad.
All right. Cass is gonna look at Juniper, the middle one. Let's go.
And
Yeah, Cass like tree drop. We're gonna try to get
The
to the
Pink
tree.
Panther theme, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna, but I'm going to go into full thief mode. So the hood is up.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, my
I
hood's
just,
up too.
I just use the blood to just kind of cover my eyes and eyebrows, just to kind of get some type of you can't see me type of weirdness.
All right, so you all are trying to move without being seen. You've got 2 guards that could raise an alarm that something unexpected is happening with the wagon. We are going to go ahead and call this your finesse and hide.
Okay.
And this is
I'm
for both of you because it's a risk
Staying
for
in that
both.
position, just because I can see there, I can see off to Kristoff
Mhm.
to try and signal if possible.
Three raises.
All right.
I used all of my die for that.
Able to evade. Remember, if you're short and you really need this, you can always spend a hero point to add a die to your roll if you need it, and you can do that after the fact. All right.
2 with 3 left over.
Ooh, that is a nasty roll.
I know. 3 of my dice were useless.
Do you want to spend a hero point to see if you can't get it up to the 3 so you can do the thing?
No, I want to save my hero point for something cool.
All right, so you're having trouble getting close. So here's your option. You can avoid notice by the 2 guards, but not get to the wagon. Like, their eyes start, like, one of them kind of glances in your direction. You have to kind of stay still while Junie keeps moving.
I'll let Junie keep moving because I can't risk
Okay.
tipping them off.
All right.
All right, I do have a way to get out because of where we're positioned, so we should be okay.
And this is not the same as choosing to fail because you are avoiding consequences. But yeah, Junie, you are able to get up to the carriage. You are now by the carriage, and you're on kind of the opposite side. The guards are both on the side of the carriage towards the beach to kind of keep an eye on. They expect the threat to come from that direction or potentially from Mez. So they're not really. One will occasionally glance over his shoulder, but they're not watching this side of the carriage.
Okay. Is there anyone in the carriage? If I can peek.
You kind of look up into one of the windows, and it looks like everyone is out.
Okay. I'm going to, if the door is locked, if I can convince you of a theft, to do my good old pop the lock and get in.
Yeah. So again, you have the risk of raising the alarm. So you don't normally, you picking a lock, I wouldn't even require a roll, but you need to do this with guards right there. And so I'm going to say, and because picking a lock tends to be metal on metal and a lot of tink, 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 tink. Yeah. Spending another one.
Could I?
Oh wait, no, we're in the same scene.
Yeah, we're in the same scene, and I have 2 raises. Could
So,
I
yeah.
use? Could I
Your
use?
threshold
Okay.
of victory is your threshold for a raise is 15, with the exception of if you roll a 10.
So,
Okay.
I read a little bit about opportunities. I could spend one of my raises to create an opportunity for another hero in the scene. So, could I, since I wasn't able to make it there, could I spend one of those raises to
You spent your raises to not be seen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
Oh shit balls! All right, so what am I rolling? Something in theft, I think.
So yeah, this is going to be finesse and theft.
Finesse.
Now
and
you
theft.
could spend a hero point to give Junie an additional 3 dice.
Keeping it.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Smoke is spending a hero point, and
Gotta
Junie
keep
gets
it.
an additional 3 dice.
I gotta keep it.
Oh, that is very large. Pool for me.
And don't forget flare. And don't forget flare. This is your first roll of this scene.
That is an extremely large pool.
If you don't think you
And
need it, I can save the point for later. But I'm sitting back to give you guys the chance to do this.
Okay. I forgot what else I was about to ask.
Remember, it's 15 for the threshold, not 10, which is why I was going to spend the point to give you the 3 dice.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I have to do a lot of math. Bear with me. Oh, fucking hell.
Remember,
Oh,
you can re-roll if you have a rank 3 in it. You can re-roll a single dice.
that's what. Okay, I'm just gonna re-roll this one. So math. I gotta count up to 15, right? You said tens are
Tens are
exception.
automatic raises on their own, but
Automatic. Okay, dokie. So
that's a house rule that I do because I hate rolling an ace and it not being enough.
Yeah. Threat of a crit. Worst idea ever.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 raises with 2 leftover dice.
Nice. Do you want to sell one of those to me?
Hell no.
Okay. It's a great way to get a hero point, but but Tad's spending danger dice now. We don't want to get... So you are able to get in there and you pick the lock and you're able even to open the door without any creak, and you're looking around, and clearly this was like it had guards around it, and there in the middle is what appears to be a very nice inlaid wooden box with a tiny little lock on it.
With a tiny little lock. I'm gonna try and pop the. I'll slowly close the door, and then I'll do my best to pop the lock.
Okay. This is a tiny. It's almost decorative. So, you're able to get in, and I'm not going to make you do the same. You just did it. You're in. You're quiet, and you open it up. And as you open the box, you are looking at. I mean, it's definitely a crown, but it is weirdly plain. Like Castilians. I mean, you're from Montaigne. You are used to elaborate work, gems and jewels. This almost looks like it's made of steel, like twisting in. Like, sure, it's pretty, but it's not even gold. Like, really, is this the best the Castilians can do?
He'll look a little confused, and he'll just kind of pop the thumb again. And like, if there's like a leather band or anything like soft on the inside of it, he's gonna spread his mark on that.
So the moment the first drop of your blood touches this crown, it boils off.
Like, holy shit. What the fuck? Okay. Guess we're doing this the old school way then. He will grab a bag that he has, just a little thieving bag. No one know he had that until now, so I guess that's out and open. Just a little less. He'll pick it up gently. Mm-hmm. Now he's kind of fucking scared of it.
You like as you reach to touch it, you're like, doesn't hurt. Feels like cold metal.
Okay, and he'll stick it in the bag, tie it around his waist, and he'll look out the window. How high up is the tree? Like, is it high enough that I'll be able to use my second story work to pop out?
You are in an area being watched. So yeah, second story would work here.
Okay. So I'll close the box. I'll close the box. I'll close the box, and I didn't break the lock, right? So it's easy for me to.
I mean, you popped it, but with a popped lock, you can put it. The next person who opens the box will definitely know that the lock was broken, but it won't be visibly obvious.
Okay, so I'll just kind of do that, and then I'll look out the window, and use my hero point to.
Mm-hmm. Since you're using the hero point, I'll even say that there's enough left of the gunshot wound from before, because it's not actually giving you a dramatic wound.
Yeah,
this is the blood's for flavor. You're able to grab it and just shift. As you do, you are struggling, and typically on just a short jump like this, you're there and you're there. But suddenly, as you do this, all of a sudden you look around and you're in the in-between.
Oh my.
Around you, the flowing... Now, you've seen this before when you've attempted larger jumps of portal magic. But here you are, and rivers of blood and this just deep red and wind blowing all around you in a bloody red sun, like a sun in the middle of sunset, but it's like high noon here, beating down all around you, and you can feel yourself in this space in between worlds. And you're looking around, and it's like, and the wind is different. Typically the wind isn't as bad. It's like you're moving through it, but slower, like something is slowing down your process of traveling through this space. What would normally be instantaneous has slowed you down. You're moving. Do you do anything while you're here?
Hell no, I'm trying to get out. He's trying not to freak the fuck out. He's like, oh no.
And you feel a weird warmth coming from your belt.
Oh shit. He'll look at it, like make sure the crown is not gone. It's fucking smoky. Oh my god.
And then pop, you appear in the tree.
He'll immediately like check the bag.
The bag is smoldering.
Shit. So is the crown there still?
Yep, the crown's there.
Oh my god.
Cool to the touch. But everything it was touching,
it's fucked. Yeah, he'll take it out and just take off his jacket and just kind of make a makeshift bag and just cover it. And he's like,
meanwhile, down at the beach, Kristoff, you and some other men come up, and they kind of see what we're doing and walking around. And finally, you make the breach and you turn around, and they're soaked, covered in seaweed and the wet sand of the surf, and just moving again with that weird wrong movement. You immediately recognize this is something imitating ghouls, something that isn't intimately aware of them. But the men with you definitely do not know that, and you see them coming out of the surf, and the moan works. The moan, as wrong as the movements are, the moan is correct.
All right. I'm just going to tell them to get online. You said they were all had pole arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tell them all to get online, form a wall.
Shield
They're
wall.
slow, you can cut them down easy.
Those are the scouts. They were alive an hour ago. And they creep up, and so you lead them just basically as a wall and allow them to come to you. Is that the plan? Yep. And they arrive, and you're just, even though you know what's happening, you have seen this often enough that you brace, but they go down relatively easy. Like, in fact, you're pretty sure one of the swings of your Zweihander did not actually connect, almost as if someone who didn't have the best view of what was happening cut the strings. It was like, yeah, that counted. And fairly quickly, like, now the guys holding the pole arms around you are clearly terrified. And they're, oh no, what were we doing? But then it's over, and they look around, it's like, is that it? Is that it? Is it done?
Now, you said that these scouts have only been here like an hour?
Yeah. We sent them
look at their bodies. Are you sure about that? Because they look like that's a lot of seaweed. And did they swim here?
I don't know.
Are you actually Inquisition agents?
It's been a lot, okay?
I'm thinking I'm going to need to see some identification to prove you actually are with the Inquisition. Can you prove you are who you say, or you travel under a false flag?
One of them.
Is this what? You just the most ballsy, creative bandits ever? What do you do? Hijack an Inquisition wagon? What do you got in those wagons then?
Lieutenant.
You.
Lieutenant.
Aren't you back there?
She turned to follow you and brought more.
So originally, as you were doing this rant at them, they're kind of sheepish, but then as you kind of do what you do and keep going, they start getting irritated, and one of them's like, I just had to kill my own men. Again, apparently. We have a mission we need to carry across. We have helped you in the task you requested help for, and now we are going to move on. And he's like, men, good job. Let's go. And they start heading up the beach towards the...
Now, hold on a minute.
He stops, turns around.
I'm going to try to look at Mez, but now I'm sorry you just had to do what Eisen has been having to deal with for 30 years. But excuse me if I don't have a lot of sympathy that you lot who are the reason half my countrymen are dead just had to put down an entire 5 of your own.
Come on, men, let's
Do I
just
at least
go.
get a hero point?
Oh, yeah. Take your hero point. You take that, yeah. They go off, and they're really brusque about it. They come up, and they're like, just... And they all kind of climb in the...
Sirs, we'll see to the burying.
Appreciate it.
Apologies, he's soldier sickness.
And they hop in and drive off.
Are you fucking kidding me, Kristoff? You can't help but open your mouth. And that's coming from me.
I will say it was all very entertaining.
Speaking of opening
And
their mouth.
O'Bannon is right there next to Mez.
Prior to O'Bannon opening his mouth, though, there was you could at least see the line between Kristoff realizing he's talking to Mez, who was also right, and him also being a stubborn ass and trying to come to terms with those two things.
Walking down to the beach. You're like, okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm just walking down to the beach to watch this unfold because I know that they've already grabbed what they want and they're on their way.
Cass will have taken off her mask once the Inquisitors had driven off and gone over to Juniper to check for it.
Oh, he is freaking the fuck out.
Throws it at me.
Like as soon as you get there, he fucking pushes it into your chest. I don't want to fucking touch that ever again. Huh? I have no.
O'Bannon kind of walks over to Cass and like, would you mind, lass? You can keep it. I just want to take a look real quick.
Kristoff, I'm here now. Out of character.
Yeah. I am a little distracted now, though, because I went back to the war again for a moment.
Hi.
Cassa is just going to look at the God King in front of her, and she's going to stay holding it, but she's going to hold it out for him to look at.
Kind of looks it over. Oi, Eisener. Seems like this might be more in your neck of the woods, don't you think?
Gonna look over at him. I will stalk my way over there. What are you talking about?
You recognize it, lad.
Do I?
You don't even know why he would think you would.
Sir, I don't believe that we have the memories that you do.
Ah, fair.
Yeah. Maybe the oldest one here, but if I'm understanding the way things go, I've got nothing on you.
Your people made it. They made a few things, like this sword.
Wait a minute. I'm going to just take the crown from him, actually, or try.
I have it.
It's not like
He hasn't touched it.
You still
Yeah,
have it?
I have
Okay.
it. Cass is holding it.
That is going to immediately 180 my thought process, and I'm going to look the crown because I need to know if that is made of what I think it's made of.
I mean, you can't imagine how many other things he might be talking about right now. All right. Well, this has been a whole lot of fun, but unfortunately a bloody waste of my time. As to the deal, lass,
Aye.
I'll be getting back to you.
I was imagining that you would. Yes, and if you be...
But
I'll
hey,
be answering the call.
you do your ancestor proud, and all of us. I've heard tales. Fighting to the last.
Just a mo. Just a mo. Aye. Aye.
She got
Let's do it.
fangirl right now?
I thank you for the honor that you do me and my ancestor. Not that I assumed that those tales were quite real, but I thank you. It comes a good word from a king.
I wish you could have met her. Ashling, the Firebrand. Now,
Aye.
would this be belonging on a Castilian head? And finding the head it fits. I wouldn't recommend wearing it if it doesn't belong to you, though.
Doesn't belong to me, it belongs to Good King Sandoval.
But which one?
Sir?
Did he just fucking leave? Did he just peace out?
Yeah.
Like,
Does
and
that-
there's a moment like a wind kind of blows up, and weirdly you smell like clover.
It's a
Kind of blood in the
leprechaun.
air, and he's just gone.
It's a leprechaun. Where's your pot of gold?
So,
Leprechaun! Sorry.
that was my king.
And we've got the crown.
And
Uh,
you
is
have the
Kristoff-
crown.
Is
Aye.
Kristoff still looking at this weird?
Yeah, I would have asked to see it, except not with words, because I would be very bad at words right now.
Cass trusts Kristoff. She didn't know who the hell that God King was, so
And
but she
that-
will hand it to Kristoff.
You've never touched or held this stuff before, and as you're holding it,
I have once.
oh,
Once.
Oh.
And it was a very small amount, I might add. But
true. Yeah, this is it. This is the stuff.
I'm going to give it back to Cass. That's Drakennyson. And that means we need to get this where it belongs before we have more complications.
Did they tell me where I'm supposed to take this? They didn't. I don't
Your contact, all of your contacts, all of your dead drops are in San Juan.
I don't know where I'm supposed to take this, but
We're just gonna be going back.
we have to go back to San Juan. That's where everyone I am in contact with is.
Aye. We're going.
It's gonna have to stay safe with someone somewhere. Can't risk leaving it alone.
And you can't be bringing it into your home.
Mm-mm.
Actually could. They won't think to look inside the head inquisitor's house. I personally think
Did
it's
you
safe.
hear the part where he said that things would be happening if we kept onto it too long?
Actually, I think her house is the best place for it.
Aye. All
It's
right.
the place the Inquisition isn't going to look for it. And it's definitely a place that if they catch wind of it, Die Ritter won't be able to come in for it.
You keep saying this word. I need a little bit more information.
Maybe back at the ship.
So, for the
Back at
record,
the ship. Aye.
so yeah, you all are able to get back to the ship. We're gonna. All of you will have heard of Drakennyson before, the mythical material that has made so many. Does it resist magic? Is it itself magic? Like, yes. If any, like, it is rare. And as all this is going on, Juniper probably has a little bit of insight. I don't know if he shares that with.
No, he just threw it at
No,
me.
he is freaking the fuck out. Like, he is obviously having a panic attack. He is not feeling good whatsoever. He's not
Ju-
talking to nobody.
Junie, we can go panic together. We can panic together.
That sounds like a plan, you know? Yeah, let's go do that, huh?
Let's go into the ship, into the hold, down below.
We're going into the. Are there
Oop.
Are there barrels that we can be smashing? I feel like we need to smash something. A little bit.
There's probably some spare boards.
Aye.
And if I
Break
need to
those?
go up, can I just do it in the sea?
Yes.
Okay.
As you all are boarding the ship and turning around and just heading for San Juan, and now you've got full wonderful winds. You're gonna even taking the slow route, you are going to get back in almost 2/3 of the time that it took you just to get this far. Cruise a little bit. Oh, we're turning. Okay, and they're not asking questions though. They know better. And as you all board, and you kind of have some time to sort of talk about what's happening, put things away. I will say, however, that as everything's getting ready, the night starts falling. You'll probably be getting to San Juan sometime in the morning with your new accelerated schedule when Mesara, as you head down to your room, you will see a single wildflower that had been around left on your cot with a little note that says, "Until next time." And with that, we come to the end of this episode of The Blades of Roses. The crown of Good King Sandoval has been recovered, and some stuff has been found out about it. We've had our first voyage, rather short because it was so effective, of the Cerulean Tides. Well done to Captain Smoke. We've had a lot of shocking revelations of stuff that is happening. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Squirrels of Darkness for hosting us. Thank you to our producer, Mootley, with everything you've been doing to keep this going. And we will see you all soon. And as we say here, and see.